Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's drop frames now in 60 FPS, except for Rami. It only took 8 years for me to realize there was a problem. 7, maybe. Rami, you're 24 FPS.
Oh, 24. No, that was too slow.
Yeah. You gotta move a little slower there. You gotta move a little slower there.
Dude, no, it is not Captain Rami. It is Captain. Cappi and apostrophe.
Let's get this over with. We can't legally call you a captain, according to you. So I don't know if this is a legal source that's trustable, Rami. I don't know if you are or not. But why can we not call you a captain? What is this?
I think because the phrase captain comes from military phraseology, and I'm technically a pilot in command, which you can call me that, but not captain.
Do we say
you can call him a big pick if you want to?
Pilot in command.
I feel like this. My Dutch side is very uncomfortable with that phrasing.
Yeah, I was worried.
Do not ask what pick means in Dutch.
Okay, I was going to say my American side feels a little weird about it. So I'm not even sure what the Dutch side.
Calling anyone a big X is just generally frowned upon. I think these days it's not a
big pick is definitely one that you don't want to use in the Netherlands.
Okay, all right.
Trust me on this one.
All right, noted. We won't.
Did you just call our guest a wet armchair, dude?
I think so. Rami, do we congratulate you on becoming a not captain? What do we? What is what is the? Do we get a champagne bottle? Do we have to get a sword and like saber?
I think I know this. Ready? I've been through this once in my life before. Here we go. Ready?
What?
Rats on your wings.
Is that what?
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard you say. That's what I've heard you say. Rats on your wings.
They give you wings.
You're supposed to say new pilots. Yes, he can actually fly now. He has wings. They give you a celebratory set of wings.
Yeah. It's like the Icarus thing. They just tell you to not go too high.
Man,
Stay away from the sun.
No, yeah. I mean, it's been a dream since I was a kid, and I've always wanted to fly airplanes, and I just never had time. Like at first, I didn't have money for it. Then I started a game studio. Then I didn't have time for it, and then sort of the whole COVID thing happened, and then I had both time and money. So I decided to start on my license, and it took me about half a year to get my pilot's license, and now I can fly small single-engine airplanes.
Okay.
Anything with a single propeller. So basically, when I say I lose an engine, I mean like I lose
it's not
the
good.
engine.
Yeah,
that's bad. But beyond that, it's fairly chill.
Okay.
Hopefully, gain a parachute at that point.
Yeah.
We do not have a parachute.
What?
There seems to be enough room for one. Why would
why would you not have a parachute?
You would not have a parachute because you're responsible for putting the plane on the ground. Safely.
Oh, they don't want you to bail out over like.
In case you saw that whole situation with that YouTuber a while ago that decided to pretend that his airplane was crashing and jump out for the YouTube views.
Yeah.
It turns out aviation rules don't like that. Like,
is that like a legality thing? Like you're not allowed to bring a parachute with you?
You can bring, but it's basically like considered.
It's last chance.
It's not. It's
the
not
last
good.
thing you want to do is jump out of an airplane.
It will legally get you in trouble. And you can get, however, airplanes with parachutes on them. So if you have an airplane issue, there are certain airplanes that just have a chute as part of the airplane, and that's fine. You can deploy that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
learning a lot today.
I saw the model for those, like
they're
airplane,
awesome.
like years ago, but it I'm not sure if it blows off the nose cone or the tail end or whatever, but like it like pops out. And it showed like the computer simulation. Yeah.
Kind of a last resort situation. I would
kind of not a thing you want to be doing. So but, they're nice. The airplanes I fly don't have those, so I just really should try to not break the airplane.
So how far away are you from the jet license? Is that like miles away? Are you close?
No, I could technically go in that direction. So what I have now is called a private pilot's license, and it allows me to fly privately on every single engine piston airplane. So an airplane with a single propeller on the front. And then you can basically expand towards multi-engine pistons, so then you can have multiple propellers on the airplane, or you can go towards turbines, single-engine turbines, multi-engine turbine. And then to go towards your jet license, you would first get something called your CPO, your commercial pilot's license. Then you can earn money flying whatever way.
Oh.
And then you would get your IFR rating, which allows you to fly in bad weather when you can't see stuff.
Oh.
So take off in clouds, land in clouds, go through bad weather. But basically, it forces you to fly according to like highway instrument rating. Yeah, your instrument flight rules rating. And then after your IR rating, you can go towards your ATPL, which is your like airliner pilot thing. And it's funny because technically, the airliner license, the ATPL, comes with like ratings for all of the specific airplanes. So if you want to fly a 747, if you want to fly a 747, you would have to get a 747 rating because the airline won't let you fly without that. But if you are extremely rich, you can just buy the Boeing, and then as long as multi-engine turbine license, you don't even need the commercial license or the ATPL. You can just fly on the turbine rating and just fly it, which is preposterous, but there's technically nothing that prohibits you from flying a really big multi-engine turbine airplane.
That seems a little scary.
That's great to know. Thank you.
Yeah. I guess it's useful information.
If you ever buy your Boeing, you can skip.
Okay.
Oh, it's specifically Boeing.
Well, 747
or
whatever.
Oh, okay. Like any of those airplanes. They're all multi-engine turbine
discontinued.
Maybe. Yeah, so you can probably get a cheap one.
Yeah, you probably could. New model's coming out. It's kind of like the previous.
Let's just go to Google. What does a Boeing 747 cost?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let me guess. Let's all do our. Rami, you can't guess because you probably know. I'm going to guess.
Now this is brand new.
747 costs.
Brand new.
I'm going to say. I'm going to be way off though. I'm going to say 11 million.
Oh.
Way too much. Way off. Way too
I'm going to go with 150 million.
Okay.
Oh, really? That much?
Rami, do you know the price of a Boeing 747?
I have never checked, so I'm just as curious as you are.
So we're getting kind of differing results here. This one says...
To be fair, the one I'm talking about is encrusted with gold and diamonds.
Gotcha. Well, you're both off by a couple $100 million. In 2019, the list price for a Boeing 747 was between $248 million and $338 million. However, according to simpleflying.com, a brand new 747-8 would be worth $418.4 million. And that was published January 20th, 2022.
And that includes the engines and wheels?
I guess, yeah, I would hope so.
I would hope so.
For $500 million.
Oh,
yeah.
It's been really fun.
Honestly, I was thinking about like things of comparable size. I was like, all right, a nice big fat mansion. Like $11 million will get you a pretty goddamn huge house and a lot of land in a lot of places.
Big thing is,
so I was like, an airplane, you could fit like several airplanes on a land that you paid $11 million for. So like, I didn't know the parts of the thing would cost that much.
That's a good line of thinking, but you have to think like a capitalist, because pretty much the only reason you'd buy one of these planes is to make money.
Yeah.
So like, unlike a mansion or something, I mean, sure, you can make some money off that, but it's not quite the same. Like, these are literally money generation machines.
Yeah.
So they are going to price them as such.
I did not know that. Yeah. But the important question is, I think, the important question I want to know is if you started an airline, Rami, what would the airline's name be? And I wrote down, like, would it be like Air Habibi or something like that? Or
I would like that. Air Habibi would be great. I would love Air Habibi. That's actually my first chance was Air Habibi. And then I would get banned from every country because it's an Arabic thing. So there's be like no airplane.
They're like, what the fuck does this mean?
Yeah, this is FBI, NSA, TSA.
Wait, hold on.
CIA,
I finally realized why you went and got a license to fly.
Finally, don't get random checked.
You don't get random checked. That's the entire reason. It was a 6-month ordeal, and that was why.
No. now I fly with my pilot's bag, and obviously there's a lot of aviation related stuff in my bag. There's like a radio that is specifically tuned to the air radio.
Yeah.
In my bag. So now instead of getting random checked, I'm getting reasonably checked for having a whole bunch of aviation stuff in my bag.
Oh, geez.
And it feels so much better. It's just
I guess,
sir, what is that thing? I'm like, pilot's radio. They're like, why do you have that? I'm like, I'm a pilot. They're like, oh. I'm like, here's my license. They're like, okay, sir. I'm like, wow, this is so much nicer than just be like, sir, you're getting selected randomly. Also, we need to check your bag for bombs, and we need to check where your dad is from.
What is this square device? Sir, that's my laptop. What do you need? What do you need a laptop for? What are you doing with a laptop?
I have literally had TSA ask me what my underwear was. They're like, what is this, sir? I'm like, those are
what, did your underwear just have like
shorts.
bombs on it, or what the fuck was the issue?
Nope, they literally just grabbed a random item, and they're like, what is this? I'm like,
You should have looked him dead in the eyes and been like, that's my weapon storage device.
Yeah.
I honestly just pictured a fucking pair of Rami's underwear. It just says the bomb on it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Sir, what does this mean? Like, come on, man. You know what that means, right?
Come on.
If you
I'm
see
not
that,
going to read it.
It transcends language. Okay.
If I say this out loud in the building, I will be dead. So how about you read it for me?
That's true. That's true.
So yeah.
Wow.
Wow. It's been good.
Yeah. You fly? How many?
No.
How often do you fly?
In all seriousness, congrats. That is awesome.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Awesome.
About like once every 2 weeks at this point. Like
Okay.
once a week, every 2 weeks. But it's been very snowy.
Does the license require you to fly a certain amount per year, or do you have to get tested
12 hours
again?
per year.
That's it.
I mean,
it's 1 hour per month
in the air. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
I assume it's different for different licenses and ratings and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for example, I have a medical license where they need to check if I'm not likely to just die while flying the airplane. And if you do it PPL, if you die, it's mostly going to kill you. Well, if you go CPL or ATPL, it's like yearly and it's like much higher. Like commercial pilots, like jetline pilots, have to be in like pretty good shape to continue to do it.
Yeah.
And like your eyesight goes worse, like you're done. Right? Like these people have a heart attack, they're done with their career. Like that's it, end of story. Like you'll need years to rehabilitate to the point where they will let you fly again. So I don't think I want to be a commercial pilot, but I really like the idea of just waking up and going like, I want to go to France today, and just getting in an airplane and flying for a few hours. And that's been really nice.
That's kind of sick. Yeah, kind of a nice.
That is
nice
pretty
deal.
awesome. So out of curiosity, and if this is too much, feel free to draw the line. But like, so it would. How much does that cost you? Like, is it just the cost of fuel, or like does X amount of sky miles mean a maintenance thing you have to do? Like what?
Yeah, maintenance is part of it. So renting an airplane wet, which means with fuel included, is about 200 euros an hour. An hour. So you want to fly for 4 hours, it'll set you back about 800 euros. So it's not cheap.
That's
but
not
you can
super
offset.
crazy though.
It's not super crazy, and you can offset it by flying with other people. Like I said, I can't make money, but I can actually split costs. So
Uber pool.
I'll fly with a friend and just go like between the two of us or three of us, we'll just split the money, and then I'll fly people to a place.
Have you taken friends flying yet?
Yep.
Are they a nervous
one
wreck?
of my friends?
Like
some of them
don't
are.
know, I'll be honest, Rami. I don't know if I would want to get in a plane with you.
So my favorite thing about the flying thing
that makes me nervous.
As a pilot, you're actually you're in control of the flight. You're a pilot in command, but you normally have two sets of controls, right?
Okay.
Left seat, right seat.
Yeah.
A pilot is usually in the left seat, but as a pilot in command, I'm allowed to let the person in the right seat control the airplane. I'm just responsible for what they do. So I've had almost every single one of my friends. I've had them like try light turns and like climb and descend. And I had one.
And they don't need any like. They don't need a license
man.
or anything like that.
That actually is making me nervous right now.
It's my responsibility. So I would have like friends like make like small little turns and like And my favorite thing about that is I had a friend who was like, I was like, okay, so first let's try and climb, and he pulls on the thing, and we start climbing, and I have my hand on the throttle in case he does something bad, so I can speed up or speed down. And go like, okay, that's really good. Okay, now point us back down, and the guy just goes like, whoop.
Oh god!
And the airplane just goes from like this to like poop, I'm like, nope, that's too much. No, it's too much. You're done. it was just like,
good Lord.
What part of like push the thing a little bit made you feel like you should like just like whoop? I was like, nope, we're good. We're good.
So
You're done.
follow-up question: can you turn off their controls? Just like
no, you can't. It's not great.
Yeah, does like flight control notice that, and do you get contacted when that happens if you have like a random drop in elevation?
If you fly IFR, which is instrument rating, absolutely.
Okay.
If you fly VFR, then they don't care. You can fly wherever you want as long as you're not getting in airspace that is used by controlled airplanes.
Got it.
In my case, if they see my airplane doing really weird stuff, yeah, they'll ping me and they'll go like, whatever the name of my airplane is, and then like, hey, are you okay? And they just be like, yeah, I have an idiot next to me that decided to like fall asleep on the steering wheel.
Yeah, let my friend drive. It's cool.
Yeah. But you can actually do that. There's no rules against it.
Wild.
The only thing is I am responsible. So if my friend dives down and it damages the airplane, that is on me, right? Now most people do not push or pull on the wheel, the yoke, with full force. But I've now come to the realization that I need to explain what I mean by push.
Yeah.
Which is not put your full weight on the thing. That's not,
gently and slowly, as to
he's just like
put
just
us
a
into
little
a
bit
nosedive. Yeah.
I mean, those airplanes. Like the thing people don't realize is those planes can handle so much. Like really, like the amount of forces they can handle is bonkers. Because you always look, you look at like airplanes and you have turbulence. You see the wings bend. You're like, that's not good. And then you look at like a stress test on those wings, and they bend like 25 degrees up, and they're fine. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
You can that work? Okay, that works.
This is good knowledge for me to have because I've flown a lot like in the last 10 years of my life, but it's nice to know that like they can go way further than I've seen them go because I've seen them like it looks sometimes like they're flapping, dude.
Yeah.
Like is that how we're actually getting around?
Yep. That's literally it. And also like, engines. Like you have a big airplane, it can fly on one engine. It has 4. If they lose 3 of them, it will fly. It will just continue, like it can continue to fly. You actually get training on how to fly with only one engine. Asymmetrical flight is what they call it. They'll teach you how to fly with just one engine pushing you like sideways and how to like basically side slip for the entire flight. Like the limits, the mechanical limits and the engineering limits on airplanes are just ridiculous.
So I got to get this out before I forget. You were talking about like how much it costs and that kind of stuff. And I said like an Uber pool, like you can have you can't make money, but you can have people help you. And someone in my chat put the perfect name for if you're going to do that.
Oh,
Airbnb.
It's not bad.
You get
so good I had to say it, dude.
Yep, fair. So you go, you fly with me, you pay for it, and then you buy me breakfast.
I guess that's what. Yeah.
Done. I'm in.
Regardless of time of day, it's breakfast. It can't be any other food selection.
And that could be an overnight thing or an escort service. Like both, it would all work well. Yeah. Fly to a romantic location and escort them around it and then get back in the plane and go home.
Yeah.
Okay, Co, you're in charge of that part of the business.
Great.
Good. Awesome.
Just shoot me a PM if you're interested.
My chat.
Yeah, exactly.
This was actually a really good question from my chat too that I am curious about as well.
Let's hear it.
Someone said, how hard or easy is it to just totally fuck up a plane while flying? Like, does pressing a wrong button at a wrong time make the plane start to crash? I mean, probably not in that kind of way, but like, that's a good question. Like, how delicate or how careful do you have to be?
Right. So they're very sturdy, but there's absolutely ways to put airplanes in really uncomfortable situations. Like one of the things we have, for example, is we have a thing called a mixture control. That doesn't happen on big airplanes. They automate that. But the mixture control basically controls how much fuel is going into the airplane. If you move it all the way down, you effectively turn off the fuel to the engine. So that's not good for flying. Like, your engine stops. Now, the nice thing about the airplanes is that, in general, even without engine, it will fly. It's an airplane. It has wings. That's why I'm terrified of helicopters. I'm not okay with helicopters. I don't understand helicopters. With an airplane, you go forward, you have speed, the wings create lift. That makes sense to me. With a helicopter, they flipped it around. They said, we'll make the wings go through the air real fast, and that'll create lift. But if that engine stops, they have a thing called auto rotation.
Yeah.
Basically, when the helicopter falls, the upwards wind forces the rotors to spin, and that gives you a little bit of power right before you hit the ground. And I'm just like, that does not.
I was going to say, assuming you're falling perfectly level to the ground and not tumbling at that point.
Right.
That's terrifying.
They glide, but not. It's not the. It's not a. It's an auto rotation. It's not technically a glide. It's a phenomenal system, but also I do not like it.
Yeah.
In my airplane, my engine goes off. We practice this all the time. I can just look around, and just be like, maybe there. No, I don't like that. How about over? Yeah, that looks like a good
pick
field.
a field.
Let's go that one. Oh no, the wind isn't great. Okay, well maybe that one after all. And it's great. It's like I just have time. I just sit there.
Yeah,
you have like minutes to figure out your stuff in general. It's like, yeah, it's lovely. I don't know.
What is our pilot doing? Oh, we're crashing, and he's deciding on the best place for us to have our landing.
He's putting some cream in his coffee and swirling it around. And that's maybe that one over there.
One of the things I learned that made me laugh was there's this thing called a squawk code. It's like a four digit code that you put in your airplane, and they used to identify airplanes.
Yeah.
And then there's this few special codes. And the VFR one, basically, I am not under the control of an ATC, tends to be 7000, 7000. And then there is 7500, 7600, and 7700. So the way they taught it to me is 775, Jack has a knife, which is the code for hijacking. So if any pilot puts 7500, it's a hijacking. 76, and this is a Dutch one, 76 ik hoor niks, which means 76 I can't hear anything, which means my radio is broken. And 77 we're going to heaven, which means the airplane is in a terrible state and we don't know if we're going to make it.
Yeah, the terrifying one.
Ooh. Yeah, 77 you don't want. If anybody puts 77 in, it's not good news. Right? It's the emergency code. So I was just like,
I love that you have mnemonic devices for that. Like Jack 5, Jack has a knife. That means we're being hijacked.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you see, there's a 7.5 squawk. It's like, okay.
But that image of a pilot going down. Which one? Going to heaven. 7.7. There we go. And then starts punching.
Boop, boop.
Yeah.
But it's that kind of stuff. A lot of aviation isn't inherently dangerous. It's just unforgiving. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to cause trouble. And
sure,
somebody mentioned a stall in the chat earlier, and it's a thing. Like you lose too much speed, your airplane falls, and it's not really a problem. It's fine. Like your airplane can fall. If you fall, you gain speed. You gain speed, you can fly.
See, Chad, all those times I stall when I play the game. It's fine. Stop freaking out.
JP's not stalling. He's gaining lift.
Speed. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Like, guys, come on. Stop freaking out in the chat. It's fine.
You fix it wrong, you make it worse. You fix it wrong again, you die. Right? Like that's kind of
we don't need to talk about what happened afterwards, but in the moment, I was fine. It was great.
There's definitely a guy. There's a guy in my chat being like, "Man, I'm sitting in the airport. And this is just the best podcast."
That's also true. Yeah. I was thinking about that earlier.
You got to remember the part that where Rami said that like airplanes are very durable and it's very rare when anything goes wrong. However, I do want to ask what is the worst enemy of a pilot? What is the biggest?
Okay, so before that, you have to remember that the reason we know all this stuff is because every pilot trains to a ridiculous degree on every of these things. Like the amount of stalls I've done, the amount of landings I've done, glide-ins, emergency landings, radio protocol, stuff like that. Like I am a private pilot. If I mess it up, I die. Nobody else. Right. And even for that level of license, I needed this much training. The commercial pilots, like the amount of training they do is ridiculous. And you ask me what the biggest enemy of a pilot is? It's the pilot. It's you. Like the weather, yeah, it's risky. But if you're a good pilot, you don't fly into weather you can't fly into.
Or they route you around
one of the riskiest thing that we get taught is one of the biggest killers in aviation is get there rightus. It's the idea of you've planned for a flight, you're in the air, you see conditions are getting worse, and you're like, no, I'm just gonna punch it through. And the clouds are getting low, but I'm just gonna go under them. I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna go under the clouds, and they keep pushing you down, and then eventually you can't see anymore. And so get the rightus, ego, not having proper respect for the weather and the circumstances. That's your biggest enemy, which is why they fly with multiple pilots on big airlines.
Yeah.
When I asked that question, chat immediately erupted with all three chats said birds. Like a lot of people saying birds. Are birds a big concern?
Birds are fine. No, I think I've hit a bird once.
Yeah.
You hit birds happen. If they're smart, they get out of the way. But big birds, not great. But
yeah.
No, birds happen. Like clouds happen. I had a bird hit a wing once, and it was just a very loud dunk. And you're like, what? Yeah, it was fine.
Well, that's good. At least you didn't, lose your shit. Yeah.
Do you have a little stamp like in the cockpit where you hit like bird?
Yeah, you're like
you just knock
one more.
Yeah.
Got him.
There's that I would think internet famous story about how someone's making air traffic control report their airspeed. Have you done something like that where you've asked a tower or air traffic to report your speed at all?
No.
Okay.
No, you can ask a traffic tower to report what they have in terms of information on you. You can ask really preposterous. The first time I was on radio, I was so nervous because you get trained so formally. I was what was it? Dutch Mill, Papato, Victor Hotel Kilo, requesting frequency change. And they was frequency change, Papato, Victor Hotel Kilo, frequency change approved. Tot ziens. And it's just bye-bye in Dutch. And I'm like, bye.
They don't want to talk to you. Yeah, they don't care about you.
And I was like, wait, they say bye-bye? And the instructor actually was like, yeah, of course they say bye-bye. What are you talking about? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But that just reminded me of the Han Solo scene, well, I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Boring conversation anyway.
Yeah.
But it's you're literally just they're just people. They make jokes. Sometimes they do ridiculous stuff. And sometimes, I've had somebody be on a frequency, say bye to the frequency, thought they switched, but didn't switch, and then get back on the frequency. And then the tower was like, you forgot to switch frequency. And the guy was like, oh, yeah, sorry. And then going back on the same frequency again. And the tower was like, dude, you gotta.
I'm sure they've seen all of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Of course.
Alpha Victor Niner, are you drunk? What's going on here?
Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah. That's probably a conversation we've had a lot.
Report alcoholic level, please.
Yeah.
Over.
If you're at all,
I wonder if people just get their pilot's license to do COD COD lobbies, and they just like pump their shitty music through it just to like annoy the towers.
You can do that actually. Like that's why every time people when they see the pilot's radio, they're like, "Why do you have this?" And it's like a pilot. They're like, "Oh, okay." Bring that to an airport. You could literally just rickroll everybody at the airport.
Yeah.
And they can't trace it because
I want my pilot's license. Yeah.
The reason we say our airplane number is because technically you can't see who's on the radio. In fact, there can only be one person transmitting on that radio frequency at any given time. So if anybody just presses the send button and rickrolls the entire thing, nobody else can speak anymore. You can block the entire frequency, which is the thing that happens where you're just listening to a conversation between two pilots and they're just holding down the button by accident.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about your lunch, mate, but I need to tell people that I need to land now. Like, could we
hurry the fuck up? Yeah.
Just sitting in your air tower and you just hear like, someone's on the plane!
Exactly. A little scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good times.
Have you heard the LA Speed story about the SR-71? Have you listened to that? If not, you should. Basically,
I need to look.
The very, very short version is there's someone who's like asking the flight tower for their speed, and they're out on like a Sunday or something, and all these people start one-upping each other, and then an actual SR-71 pilot comes over and says, "Can you track my speed?" And it's like fucking some absurd number, and everyone's like, "That's not real." They're like, no, we're going to do it again. It's real. This is a real SR-71. And then no one says anything afterwards. Like they all just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I'd be done.
it's
sure
good.
thing, buddy.
It's good. Yeah, definitely listen to it.
I need to find that.
It's pretty good. Anyways, video games, Rami. We should probably discuss them.
I like the previous topic better.
Let's lower the mood. Let's all get real. Yeah.
Well, one
let's
last
put a
thing.
7-7 here.
Yeah.
How about them layoff? I know, right?
One last thing, non-video game related. I wanted to ask you because my lady tried to make one last night. Do you know what a Dutch baby is? It's a food. A Dutch baby.
I don't think that's Dutch.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right.
It might. That's why I asked. It might very well not be. It's like a pancake. It's like you make it in a cast iron skillet.
Oh,
I don't think that's.
If you look up Dutch baby, you'll see a picture of it. You know,
I'm terrified of googling
just
anything
Googled
you tell me. Just for the record.
Yeah, Chat's saying very American. It's Midwest.
German.
I mean, that's a lot of German makes sense. Deutsch, like Deutsch baby. That could be. I have no idea.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Okay.
Right. Just misspelled.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Poffertjes?
Oh, poffertjes are amazing. If you've never had poffertjes, you should have some poffertjes.
Is that the same thing? Just a different name?
No, it's tiny little pancakes. And they usually get made with powdered sugar and butter. And
I like both.
The Dutch don't get much cooking. The Dutch are not good at cooking. I'll be really honest. The Dutch are awful cooks. Like I'm proud to be Dutch, but basically when the Dutch cook, it's like sort of like a post-World War thing, and the way they cook is just like they mash stuff together until it's one color and then put a sausage on top. So we've got hutspot, which is you mash and mix. And then we've got stampot, which is just stamp. But when the Dutch bake, no contest.
Crushing it.
When the Dutch bake stuff, so good. Poffertjes, pannenkoeken, tompoezen, ossebollen. Like I know some of those things for days, and like all of it is amazing.
Sounds great. You're gonna have to open up a place where you just deliver baked goods now, Rami.
Oh yeah,
with your plane.
With your plane, yeah. Or this is the gimmick. You don't actually get off your plane. You just drop it above their house and hope that it somehow gets near their person, their being.
I think an Arab dropping stuff from an airplane under an Air Habibi's flag is probably not going to go well. Probably not.
I mean, you never know till you try.
I mean, you could try. I would die. Like I've got like an F-16 like right behind me in like 12 seconds.
There's going to intercept an F-16 from America and send it over to wherever you're flying. Yeah, we need you to take it out, Bob. Get over there, please.
I just remember thinking really early into my flight career, like when very early on, you do something called your first solo, and it's the first time you take off and fly and land the airplane without an instructor next to you. It happens about 12 to 15 hours into your training.
Yeah.
And before that, you learn takeoff, then cruise flight, and then finally descent, right? And then that ends in landing. And I just remember I was like at the point where I'd learned to take off and fly. I was like, if the CIA is watching this right now, I'm an Arab who learns to take off an airplane and fly an airplane, but who has not learned how to land it yet. I ain't going to the US anytime. Like I'm getting this done. I'm learning the landing thing before I go back to the United States because this ain't it. I do not want this at all.
Sure.
It was terrifying.
Yet another Indiana Jones thing. Yeah. Fly, yes. Land, no.
Jeez.
Anyway, it's really weird that I was actively thinking of that, but like it's kind of what you learn over time as an Arab going through TSA. It's like, nope, do not want to.
Yeah, you're conditioned. I think that's just
not
doing your life up until that point to understand those experiences. Yeah, I get it.
So yeah, video games.
There was a lot that happened this week. This was a very fortuitous week for you to come on this show.
Yes.
Because we would have bumbled through it and been like, yeah, that sucks. But now we get like an industry insider to say, that sucks.
Let's get this out of the way early. Let's get this out of the way early.
Let's do it.
Let's just bite the bullet and tear off the Band-Aid.
Okay.
Rami, you're an insider in the industry. You probably have more info on this than us. What do you think about these layoffs? Is this just companies resetting and this is normal and this is our economy, or is there something more to it, or what do you think?
I think it's a combination of a few things, but basically there's been there's basically COVID has been sort of the big one, right? Like, and a large part of that was a lot of technology companies saw numbers increase. Stockholders staffed up because stockholders saw an opportunity, and obviously those opportunities didn't amount to anything in the end. Like it just isn't that. At the same time, we're having an economic recession, so like pretty much everything is being adjusted down. And then finally, a lot of bets that people have been making are just terrible fucking bets. Like, I don't know how to say it any better, but like a lot of these Stadia could have been a good bet. Metaverse could have been a good bet. Bad bet. NFT could have been a good bet. Bad bet. Like every bet that the industry has been playing has just
tell that to Square Enix, please.
But we do. Everybody does. Everybody in Square Enix says it's bad. Like it's just it is like it's just people saw money, stockholders went after the money, and then it was terrible. And we're used to layoffs, but like what was this? How many tens of thousands we've lost?
It was
it was
10,000 at Google, Microsoft,
Google,
Amazon,
Meta,
right?
Yeah, Amazon, and a slew of smaller companies. Absolutely, a lot of just smaller companies have also been cutting back if they can, essentially.
Yeah,
it's been very bad.
It's going to be very interesting because, like, obviously the industry is in a weird spot where for a while talent was highly overpaid, right? Like, and I say that as somebody who loves developers getting lots of money, but it was getting a little silly, right? And now we're at the point where, like, obviously, like, what is there? 50,000 of us are on the street looking for work. And we have no idea what it's going to do for the ecosystem at large because those salaries are no longer sustainable. Most of them will get hired back like relatively soon, but in different positions, lower paid positions, different companies. But a year ago, it was fairly easy to get laid off, get a bunch of friends together, get investment, and get going. And right now I'm hearing behind the scenes, I'm hearing some investment funds that are like, it's a recession, but the opportunity here is huge. So I think we'll see a number of like mid-sized to like small AAA studios start up, kind of similar to what we saw the last few years. It just won't be as many. Like it'll be slower and because there just isn't as much money going around. So this is just all of this just pushes the whole idea of unionizing the games industry like further, and I think that is where this conversation will end up going because this is bonkers. Like they're not just laying off juniors. It's like this is like across the board talent. Yeah, it messes up the entire economy of the games industry. Like you don't know. I don't know what a senior is worth right now. Like 2 weeks ago, I could have told you.
Right.
Like what the average range for a senior would be in a specific city. Now I just have to wait how things shake out to tell you where numbers are going to be.
Senior, what a senior.
So there's somebody with like experience,
right,
with more experience than a junior, and they're usually like on a low management level. So they're not like managing a thing, but they're usually managing a team of normal level employees and junior employees. So it's like one of the problems with the games industry is we never created like global terminology.
Right.
So like a producer in one company is something else than a producer in another company. A senior in a company might be an experienced person or a lead or a manager or like closer to a director. And it's like you just don't know. But sort of that like 5 to 10 years of experience, but not like in a management position. That's kind of where you'd be looking. I could tell you how much that would have been worth like 2 weeks ago, and now I have no idea. Just there's too many available right now. All of a sudden,
right? Yeah, it's been a really crazy week. Not only with all of the layoffs, but you've also got specifically with the Microsoft stuff. You've got, I guess a place to start is Halo 343 Industries. Put out a statement that says, yeah, we're going to continue to make Halo now and in the future because there was a leak that said they're not going to make Halo anymore. That's fucking wild.
And their response was a 1 liner.
Yeah.
Like didn't go into it anymore, didn't address it anymore. And it's like after all the stuff that they've been through and everything, it seemed almost surreal.
They didn't mention layoffs. It's literally a one-liner. It reads, Halo and Master Chief are here to stay. 343 Industries will continue to develop Halo now and in the future, including epic stories, multiplayer, and more of what makes Halo great. Pierre Heinz, studio head. That's it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Stuff is wild right now. The other thing, 343 is the biggest problem I have with industry statements at the moment is just I don't know necessarily what's true at any given point anymore because so much is happening and so many people are covering their tracks and their asses that it's hard to know which part of these, because there might be conversations above 343, there might be conversations in 343, but obviously with companies that are traded or companies that are public, they are legally required to keep information until that information is supposed to be publicly available. So they can't make a statement that agrees with that, even if it were true. Even if they know it's true, they will be legally required to say, hey, no, listen, we're fine. So
yeah,
I don't know. I actually don't have an insight on that. I don't know the story, but the honest truth is I don't know what is happening right now. The amount of consolidation that has happened over the past few years is preposterous. Every studio is now part of a bigger thing. And now we're learning that these bigger structures are not sustainable per se, and there's a reckoning. I don't know what that's going to look like.
Sure.
Do you think it could lead to an environment that was similar to before, these big acquisitions? Like companies purposefully spinning off or staying away from the larger companies?
I would hope so. I think the old situation was so much healthier than where we are now. How many third parties are really left?
Not
a
much.
dozen?
Yeah.
That aren't indie.
Large scale, third party, AAA. What do we have? Rockstar, I guess.
Rockstar,
Bungie is gone.
Gorilla, Larian is arguably there.
Gorilla's
Gorilla's PlayStation. That's right. Oh, damn.
Bungie is now PlayStation. Insomniac is off the grid.
Sony?
From Software is owned by Bandai.
Yeah, I think it's second.
Yeah, which I guess is arguably huge too. So.
Rare is now Microsoft. CD Projekt.
CDPR, yeah.
Still exists. Ubi is still there.
Who owns Bethesda?
And Microsoft.
Microsoft, yeah.
That was the big acquisition.
And then pretty much everything. Yep. Pretty much everything that is third party nowadays is either owned by Tencent or NetEase,
or has a percentage of the other.
Right.
Yeah, Tencent
even Nintendo is Tencent at this point, isn't it?
They just bought more a month ago or something.
They're just gonna keep buying.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, so this Ubisoft idea of, is rioting.
Right.
Oh, I guess that's true. FromSoft is Katakawa, not Bandai. Bandai publishes.
Not Bandai.
Software.
Yeah, Bandai publishes.
Yeah.
That's true. That's the whole Embracers there. Everybody is just getting bought in some way, shape, or form, and it's these larger structures are just not necessarily sustainable for the games industry. So this hope that Co has that it'll break into smaller units is better, because I think it will allow for more risk and it will allow for more healthy competition. Right now, mate, I have to say, I'm watching the whole Xbox thing, right? Buying Activision Blizzard. That's terrifying. That's scary to me. I am happy that there is pushback on it, even though I know a lot of people wouldn't agree with me. But if Activision Blizzard goes Microsoft, there's just Rockstar on that level. That's left.
True. So just to grow that thought out a little bit, what is it about it that scares you? Is it the fact that it's all under one umbrella? Is it the lack of competition? What's the nitty gritty of that?
It's a bit of all of that, right? The point is that the way the games industry works is it works like any industry. It works healthier when there is more opposing viewpoints of the same thing, or if those viewpoints are competitive. So in the games industry, we have this weird triple thing, right? We have PC, which is entirely its own thing. Nobody cares about PC, even if you're competing with PC.
Sure.
PC is its own thing, and everybody who plays on PC plays on PC, and they will happily also buy an Xbox, or happily also buy a PlayStation, or happily also buy a Nintendo. They're not a competition. They're their own thing. They've got Nintendo, same thing, right? nobody cares about Nintendo because the point with Nintendo is if you want Nintendo, you play Nintendo. If you don't want Nintendo, you don't play Nintendo. But a lot of people who have a Switch will still buy a PC, a PlayStation, or an Xbox. You go to Microsoft and PlayStation, they're that duopoly. They're the two companies that are fighting. And even when you do exclusivity deals, very frequently it'll just be exclusivity for the other one.
Right.
A lot of them won't even say like, oh yeah, PlayStation. They won't necessarily say like, you can't put it on Switch. They don't care. It's not their thing. Like you put it on Switch, sure, put it on Switch. Like you like it on PlayStation, sure, buy it on Switch. You like it on Microsoft, sure, put it on Switch. Like, you see, same thing. Most people don't really care, but Microsoft is winning, right? And that's the part that's scary. Like they're winning. Nobody should be winning that. The healthiest place for the console wars to be is for it to be console wars. And then without all the tribal nonsense and people fighting over which one is better. But it needs to be a fight. And the problem is PlayStation got hit with three things at once. Game Pass, right? The switch to PS5, and then stock shortages. So a lot of people that would have bought a PlayStation 5 ended up buying an Xbox because Game Pass is an amazing deal and the PlayStation wasn't available. And Microsoft really quickly managed to fix their stock problems. So you want to buy an Xbox Series S? You have it. You want to buy that Series X? You can buy it. You want the PlayStation 5? Good luck getting in the queue there. Right? Maybe you'll get it. Maybe you won't. Who knows? So they're behind on PlayStation. Microsoft is pushing real hard on Game Pass. And I'll be honest, like everybody agrees, Game Pass is the best deal in gaming. It is the best. Like there's just no way around it.
It's becoming too good of a deal.
That's it.
It's not always going to be the best deal. Yeah.
Potentially. But if they keep buying studios, it gets better, right?
But what happens, right? What happens when they stop having to compete?
Well, that's also true. Yeah. No, you're 100% right. Yeah.
That is the risk, right? They own Call of Duty. They own the largest remaining third-party thing that was used as sort of like a battering stick in both directions, right? Like
for decades, literal decades. Yeah.
And you would have your FIFAs, you would have your Call of Duties, you would have your Rockstar games, a bunch of Ubisoft stuff, but like sort of like this big machine of like yearly titles was third-party, and now it's becoming first-party, and then it stops having to compete because if Call of Duty is just going to be on Game Pass, it already made its money. It made its money in subscription, right? So why would we make a big deal out of that? Like Sony has tried to beat them on shooters. We got Killzone. Killzone was good. It wasn't Halo, right? And you can see Sony preparing for this. They're buying companies that could do first-person shooters, right? They're pushing for that. But like,
I mean, they bought the Halo people, right? Like,
basically the math is starting to shift, and it's not at the point yet where Xbox is like has won, but it's really starting to feel like they are winning, and that to me that's just sort of it's a scary note, right? Like it's just not a place where I want the industry to be. And like for a while PlayStation was winning, but the thing with PlayStation was PlayStation never found a killing blow. There was never anything that PlayStation did. Yeah, even in the PlayStation 4 era, they were competing. Yeah, they were winning. They were owning Microsoft like by a ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
But if Microsoft keeps rising this sort of like, if they keep raising the pressure with Game Pass, that's a killing blow. They're going for a killing blow. If they can kill PlayStation, they will kill PlayStation, and that's not.
Hey, Phil said they wouldn't do that. Come on.
But here's the thing. I love Phil. Love Phil. Right? I love Phil Spencer. But Phil's not going to be there all the time. Phil's going to go at some point.
Yeah.
And remember last time Microsoft switched leadership? We got Kotick. Kotick would 100% go in and be like, yeah, no, A, we'll put a media, we'll make it a media player again. And B, also, like, fuck PlayStation. We're going to wreck
PlayStation, yeah.
Right. So... I love Phil. He's like every time I've talked to him, he's been very honest. He's been very truthful. I trust what he says, and he's respectful to the point where if he fucks up in public, even just individually, he'll apologize for it. That's rare in a CEO of a company like that, right?
Sure.
But at the same time, like he's still beholden to the people above him, and if he doesn't do what they want, he'll be gone, right?
And it's very much a
good at his
situation
job.
where he could be honest, but the people making the decisions could have just told him the wrong thing, or
Right.
Yeah.
and what can you do at that point?
We're not really at the point where this is like an immediate concern. I think it will take a while. I think Activision Blizzard would be a big part of it, but it's more of a 5 to 10 year thing, where
to see where it all settles.
It won't. The pendulum won't come back. If Microsoft keeps pushing this, the pendulum won't come back. I don't think it's going to come back to PlayStation. Like the amount of change that they would need and the amount of studios they would need to buy, they can't afford it. Like they can't do that right now.
Right. Microsoft's coffers are just too deep. I mean, they're one of the biggest companies in the world,
They're
right? And
buying a AAA, they can buy a AAA studio a month with their Game Pass money. Like that's bonkers. Like that's not a reasonable number of money to come in from subscriptions, but
yeah. Well,
good fucking deal.
If they add COD to that subscription service, that's gonna skyrocket.
What's Sony gonna do?
Subs, yeah, like it's.
And again, the whole thing about yeah.
So it's interesting because there's some very good commentary back and forth going on in chat, but one of the things that's kind of I've noticed said in a bunch of different ways is, when we have the console wars and things like that, we have generation jumping where we constantly have to buy new hardware. We have exclusives. We have all these things that are kind of anti-consumer, but getting everything under an umbrella, all of a sudden we have things like Game Pass. We have them, making it so their cheapest systems can run their best products.
Right.
We're getting day one releases on relatively cheap things.
Right.
So from a consumer perspective, one would almost want to see this kind of thing happen. But I think the big takeaway is that it's never always going to be like this. Like how does that kind of factor into
it? Think of it like Netflix, right? Like at first it was amazing. And then over time it got worse because, the deal was not as good anymore. And then the creators didn't have to push as hard anymore. And then, over time, things got worse and worse. And then it started splitting up again. It broke down into multiple things because all these other interests started seeing opportunities to jump in. So Disney wanted to do their own thing and HBO wanted to do their own thing. And here's the thing, that worked in movies because in movies, stuff was entrenched. These companies were already very, very different, right? Unionization back in the days and sort of like the splitting of these companies into big verticals that all had their own thing allowed that to happen. In games, if this goes down, there is no such thing. We don't have these existing verticals that will take over those jobs. So if Microsoft does this, when Game Pass stop having to compete, the prices will go up. Because why not? Why not? The prices are now
that's the
nice
MO, right?
because
For any subscription service, you up the price after X amount of time.
The amount of games that come out will change. There will be less need to compete for the studios. Why would they create the best thing possible? Why would they push? Why would they do that if they know that the game is going to come out and it's just going to make money? Where are you going to go otherwise? Just play the fucking game, right? And
like it.
No, yeah. Well, that's the thing, and like we'll try.
But doesn't that mean like when Netflix was the only game? When Netflix was like basically the only game in town, doesn't that mean that other like competition is coming? Like, is it because Netflix couldn't buy them out before, like, buy out the competition, and Microsoft can?
Yeah.
So here's the thing: the difference was that Netflix worked in this industry where there were these existing companies that, on their own, were all extremely valuable and capable companies with lots of history, with lots of ability, with lots of IP, with lots of stuff. We don't have that. We have Microsoft, Nintendo, PlayStation, Sony. Maybe Valve, if you want to count them, because it's now that they're kind of moving into that hardware platform market, maybe Valve, and potentially Epic. You could argue Meta with the Quest, but that's its own vertical. And then you've got Apple and Android, and that's its own vertical. And then you've got the Ouya, which obviously amazing. But
number one,
but between just the best, right? But that's it. So if Microsoft and PlayStation are really the only two fighting, then if one of them goes, then there's no vertical left. There's nothing else.
You can't challenge that. It's too big. Yeah.
Nobody can fight that, because to fight that, you would need to, and you're seeing this actually with remember the Epic Game Store when it launched? People were saying like, okay, but if you're going to launch a competitor, at least be at parity with Steam. You know how hard it is to be at parity with Steam? You know how much fucking money you need
got a couple
to be
billion.
At parity with Steam? You know how much time
talk to
you
CDPR about GOG.
Yeah, it's true.
You need to be parity is not you can't start a competition and then expect the competition to be there. So competition will not do well unless you have Fortnite money coming in. And even then, you're not going to beat Steam. Imagine Steam, if Steam had a subscription where you pay $9.95 per month and you get access to 90% of the biggest games, and Steam owns those developers. You think Epic would have started the competition? No, they wouldn't. But that's literally what we're looking at.
Even now, I mean, Epic has been operating at a loss. It has pumped millions and millions and millions of dollars into exclusives. It used to have a literal fleet of creators, and now you're seeing all of that kind of.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're starting to realize that they're, just like you're saying, they're not going to get that headway they were hoping to get. It's not going to just all of a sudden happen.
On the industry side of things, like I can tell you, Game Pass deals, like on average, are going down. Like the amount of money they're giving for those deals is getting lower. Just they don't have to.
Right.
Who else is going to give you money?
But like, for the people that want to be on it, right? You still want to be on it regardless because it
why not?
Success.
It's money.
It's well, most importantly, it's guaranteed success.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the big thing. It's guaranteed success in an industry that is known for unknowns. Right. So it's a beast that you can't discount in that situation.
Yeah. So that stuff is just like, it's a lot. And I'm not like, obviously I don't know where this is going to go, but you know, I look at Spotify, I look at Netflix, I look at those things. I'm terrified. Like I don't want that for games. Like I do not want this to be Spotify or Netflix.
It almost seems kind of like Embracer Group is an umbrella for studios, and has all those studios under it. It's sounding more and more like there needs to be compartmentalized groups of indie developers that band together and say like, yeah, we'll all go on Game Pass if we all get good deals. Like it seems like there's a missing layer of representation between the only game in town and the people that are basically like complete slaves to their whim in terms of like, how much do you think we're worth? Oh, we can't argue anymore? Well, guess that's either guaranteed success here or complete potential failure over here. Like it seems like something's missing there.
We tried that back in the days with the Indie Mega Booth, right? When we were creating the Indie Mega Booth at PAX, like we tried that, band together, stand stronger together. Like, but the reality is like these companies are really good at making sure that you argue with one, like, you know, they negotiate with one based on the merits of that game, based on the merits of that, and they'll make it so that there's no good way of sort of unionizing or creating these structures because it's not in their benefit. Like they're like some of these companies, you don't make the offer, they make the offer and you say yes or no.
Yeah.
Right. For these kind of deals. Like
that's
it. You can negotiate, but it's take it or leave it. Yeah. So if
there's nowhere else to go, there's literally nowhere else to go. Yeah. What are you going to do if you leave it? Exactly. So,
it reminds me of like shit that's like it's from my like own personal experience. Like, hey, you want to do a sponsorship for this? How about now? Like, oh man. I mean, I have to, right? I have to. Don't I have to do this? I mean, look at this.
Yeah, that's also called the.
It's interesting because there's a reverse of that. It's like, hey, you know, here's this big game that you're probably going to play anyway. We'll give you this much, and you're like, well, that's way under my limit. What else are you going to do?
Yeah, you're going to play it anyways.
You're going to like, what else are you going to do? You know, and then all of a sudden, like, that gets around in the industry, and the whole thing gets brought down. It's just like, well, you know, it's that whole where there's absolutely no competition in a situation like that.
Right.
And people in chat earlier were saying, like, was I talking about unions? I wasn't really talking about unions because that's not quite the same. You don't really get together like a small group. It's more of I was about to say collective representation, but it's like, isn't that a union? It's like, but I think you see what I'm saying here. More like an agency system.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, it's not necessarily like a legal, like, for your rights thing. It's more of a way to for someone else to make sure that people aren't getting completely dicked, but then also benefiting themselves by doing it. There's all sorts of stuff there. But basically an agent for companies.
Right. And that's sort of one of the things we've done. Like, I'm
not like
I'm
a union. Shut up.
It is kind of like
it's kind of like union. Okay, fine.
It's kind of an industry union. But I'm like, I don't want to say old school indie, but I'm like from the 2008 era.
The
right?
first
like
wave,
sort of second wave of indie.
Or second
wave.
after
John Blow
That's
and
true.
like Tommy Refenes and then. But they tended to be triple A's that then went indie, and then our wave of indie was like bunch of kids with no clue what the fuck they were doing, deciding to make games, right? So you could either call it the first wave of indie or the second wave of indie. Like you could even call it later. But like in my wave of indie, we were anti-publisher. That was like the whole point of being indie was like it was counterculture, right? We were like fuck these big games, and specifically fuck all these like narrative movie games. Like everybody wanted to be Indiana Jones. Like Uncharted had just come out. All the games were going like big narrative, and we're just like, just make some fucking games. Like, come on, people. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? And like, we were full of shit. Like, we get that now, right? But back then, nobody was making that. So that's why we made what we made. And there were no publishers. You know how indie marketing looked back then? There was a dude who gave a talk that was basically just like, yeah, so you know how I do marketing? I was like, how do you do it? He's like, I wear a pink suit. Like, what? He's like, I wear a pink suit because people will ask me what's the pink suit, and then I can go like, I use it to market my game. You want to check out my game? That was brilliant marketing back in the day.
Sure,
because that was it. There was no competition. Nobody had budgets for marketing. There were no like big events. It was just like, here was a dude wearing a pink suit. Nobody wore a pink suit, so people would ask, "What's up with the pink suit?" That was brilliant indie marketing. And then I remember when Devolver came to us for their first like 3 indie games, we were one of their first 3, right? Like they had never done an indie game before. They were doing Serious Sam 3. They were asking for 3 indie games to do spin-offs. And we did one. And Devolver realized that this was a really good strategy, right? So they started growing. And really quickly, it became very clear that the only reasons publishers exist in games is because publishers exist in games. Because if there was no Devolver, I didn't need a Devolver. I wouldn't need a publisher if there was not another publisher. The publishers give you money, they give you marketing, they give you services, they give you localization, they give you QA. And the only reason indies need publishers is because we are not competing with other studios, we're competing with other publishers. Because if you're making your game yourself and you're publishing your game yourself, the competition is on the publishing part, not on the development part, right? So that's what's continued to build. Now the publishers are owned by agencies, and now the agencies are owned by platforms. And this beauty of this sort of like independent, like everybody's making stuff, everybody's competing. If you want to make an indie game right now, here's what you're going to do, right? A, you make it for Twitch, you make it for you guys, right? That's option A. You build it for you guys. That means you're probably building a multiplayer game, a roguelike, or something strategic that you can play over and over again, or for specific streamers, large-scale RPGs with lots of options because it allows you guys shit to talk about.
Yeah.
Right? Which is great. You just put 5,000 tech tree items in there and then allow you guys to figure out what's good. Some of those developers don't even know what is good. We just put shit in there and then you guys figure it out. And then you argue about it, and then when it turns out something is OP, you'll have a nice thing to talk about and we'll fix it in post. Right? Like that's fine. You develop it that way. Option B is you develop it for a platform. If you develop it for a platform, you're going to look at, okay, what does Microsoft want? What does Valve want? What does PlayStation want? And you build it in that direction.
You get a game like Grounded from Obsidian. They were like, Microsoft was like, hey, we just bought your studio. We want a good game that we can put on our Game Pass, something that's easy and, small group. And all of a sudden, boom, Grounded's born. And they make it great.
Yeah. So you get that. And the problem with that is that it means that there's a very small group of people who actually decide whether it get made. And that small group of people right now, the Game Pass team is phenomenal. Good people on that team. The Idea Xbox team is amazing. Good people on that team. But we saw that with PlayStation. They had the best team in games I've ever seen, better than the current Game Pass team, better than the current Idea Xbox team. That team was amazing. That team was incredible. They found indie games that... This is PlayStation 4, like middle PlayStation 4 indie time. right? Okay. Everything PlayStation 4 put out indie was just a fucking banger. Like, it was good stuff. It sold just like nobody's business. Amazing indie stuff happened at that point, right? That team is now entirely at Epic. Pretty much all of them are at Epic, or they're doing their own thing, right? Because that's
business.
PlayStation just gave up on indie because it was going too well. If that happens at Game Pass, then the team of people that's going to select what games are going to come out might just be a bunch of suits that just don't give a shit.
They're just looking at money.
They're just going to look at the numbers and be like, okay, cool, like fair, like this made money, let's do that again. You know how you get bad games? Get a bunch of people who don't care about fucking video games to make decisions about what video games should be made.
Hey, then you get Bethesda.
Or you just get the mobile game market.
I did not say that.
I'm kidding. I mean, I say
there's
that
a lot of things you could say.
I say that in jest, but at the same time, like I think Bethesda is a good example of a company that is relatively. It has both parts. You've got the people at Bethesda that still passionately care about their games and passionately want to make things and want things to be awesome, and then you have the people that work at Bethesda because they want to make money and they want to make a lot of money off people that play games, and then you get products like 76, which there's glimpses of greatness in there, and then there's glimpses of just those boring regular mechanics and cash shops and subscription service, and it's just like
kind of true of any big company like Bethesda sized, really. I think there's
in a lot of ways. It happens to different levels. It happens to different levels, but in some way, the bigger you get, the more people you attract. They don't care about what you do. They care about making money and making those numbers on their spreadsheets more, and could not care less about the product that the company makes. And that's indicative of every company in every industry. Unfortunately, it becomes a little bit more apparent in games in a lot of ways because the product is so consumer facing, and we can see all of this stuff right in front of us. Anyway,
and gamers are really good at feeling this stuff, right? Like that's one thing you learn in playtesting. Never listen to what gamers give you as solutions for your problems, but always listen to the problems they give you, because they're never wrong about what they feel, right? Like people tell us like, oh, you got to fix this. Fuck them. Like, with all due respect, fuck them. But they say, I feel this is not good. That's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
Right. That is literally how we get taught to deal with shit. And that's important. Because if the people playing the game were better game designers, they would be the game designers, right? We train for this, we practice for this, but the gamers are never wrong about how they feel about something. And if they feel something is shit, it's shit. End of story. You fix it. You figure out how to fix it, but you fix it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what the business people don't get. They go, hey, everybody's saying this is bad. Go fix that exactly the way they're saying it. You get boring games. You want to find out how shit that would be? Get a fighting game.
And just never update it.
The forums.
Rami, tell me something. As a game designer, how do you, and this is a little bit off topic, but just since we're on this, I'm very interested to hear your thoughts on this. How do you balance between my vision, and this is how I want it, and the player vision and what they're asking for? Like, have you ever gotten to a point where the players are screaming for something and you're like, no, I like it like this. This is how I want it.
Right. Yeah, of course. Like, it's happened to me with Nuclear Throne specifically. We developed that live on stream, right? So people were watching us make decisions going like, no, we don't want that. And it's like, no, listen. When you're thinking of game design, when you're thinking of game design, you're thinking about all these loops, right? Like the way different things like click into each other, and you're thinking about like cost and benefit. You're thinking about motivation. You're thinking about time spent. And one thing we learned really quickly is that gamers love a lot of gamers love min-maxing. They just love figuring out how to, like, as rapidly as possible go through stuff and get the highest numbers the fastest. But here's the thing: if we give that to you, you lose the satisfaction of achieving it. Right? Because I can make your favorite game, I can probably make a mod that just gives you a button to click and you have everything. I could do that. Like that's fairly straightforward, but you would hate it because the friction that we put into the game is part of the game. And the parts that are frustrating to you, we get taught, don't worry about frustration. Worry about frustration getting people to stop playing. If you're frustrated about something, but you keep playing and you get the thing and you're happy now, fucking great. A+ game design. You have something that you are having a hard time with, but you are dedicated to continue because you believe that the reward will be worth it. Done. Beautiful.
I'm trying not to smile because you're describing every game I play.
Right.
No, that is awesome.
It's really pissing me off, Rami.
The grind, the frustration, unbalance, balance, your character being too strong. Like we always get taught, like the perfect balance for any game with multiple characters is when everybody complains about every character about equally.
Sure, yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If nobody's complaining, you made boring characters.
Yeah.
That's the
exactly
old
right.
That's the old good compromise thing. A good compromise between two people is when both of them leave unsatisfied.
And it's really interesting, Rami, because I'm going to steal that because I get asked all the time in my RPGs, why are you save scumming? Why don't you just lower the difficulty? And it's exactly what you just said. I like the journey. I like the friction. I like failing over and over and then getting it to work. That's an awesome. Thank you. I'm going to take that. I have a quick follow-up to what we were just talking about. And it's a 2-word thing. And it's related to kind of what we were saying. How do you deal with a vocal minority?
Right.
How do you deal when it's just a very small amount of your player base, but they're being incredibly loud about something that needs to change?
So that is by far one of the most complicated issues we have in games. Because in general, even when it feels like a majority, it is usually a minority, right? Like I'm a Destiny player, too much.
Yeah, so you're used to it.
That's the thing. Like the idea of the vocal minority. Most majorities are vocal minorities. When you're looking at the scale of what people are, how many people are playing a game, the majority of them aren't on Twitter, on Reddit, on like they're playing the game. That's it. That's what they do. They're not talking about it. Like, yeah, there's a part of it, but the majority is just playing, right? And most games, we get our analytics, we get our data, we get to see feedback, we get to see crash statistics, we get to see what people are picking, how they are picking it, when they are picking it, whether they keep playing, whether they stop. A lot of games, and especially these live service games, have amazing amounts of analytics, and they can drill down to like very specific play styles and figure out those play styles, right? So when you have vocal minorities, or basically literally any situation on which the internet loses its shit against a video game, what you want to do is you want to figure out, is there a way to fit some of that feedback into something that isn't destructive to our game and that goes along with some of the decisions we were already making? And very frequently what that looks like is, depending on the cycle of the game, 2 or 3 cycles down, there will be sort of a move in that direction, right? Where they'll basically go like, okay, we've listed feedback and like this has been in development for a while, but we're doing this, this, and this to sort of come towards those issues. And then they basically see whether it actually improves user satisfaction. Because sometimes giving people what they want make the game worse. Like Destiny added crafting.
Yeah,
it was like a big thing. People felt that they were too dependent on randomness for god rolls. Now they can craft some of their weapons exactly the way they want. And now they're having an issue that they're not having enough endgame content to farm for. Because as soon as you have the gun that you want, in the configuration that you want,
you're done.
Why do you play?
Then you have no more friction.
Yep.
That's the end goal. Yeah.
Right.
I had that exact thing happen in Destiny. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I was also saying, like, we should craft guns. That sounds like a great idea.
Because you it's really easy to imagine how these systems, this is the problem that I've learned. It's really easy to imagine things and have them be good. That's super simple. If I tell you there's a game in which you play a character that's going to fight a dragon in a floating castle, so you can imagine that and have it be badass, right? And the problem is, I didn't even like, what do you imagine the character to be like? Because most of you will have a knight because it's a dragon, but it could be a space jetpack guy, or like it could be the guy from Sekiro, or it could be Mario, or it could be a cat. As soon as you start making stuff, a lot of things that sound good are fucking bad. Like, holy shit, a lot of ideas are just fucking bad. And you prototype them and you're like, how the fuck is this bad? As like, I cannot believe. I had this idea. Okay, listen. We had this idea of a hookshot. It was a 2D game. You had a hookshot. a grappling hook, and at the end of the grappling hook was a gun, so you could grapple and then you could just use the gun to clear out enemies, and then grapple in after it, and then just burst into the room and then like double like Uzi everything that was left, right? So we'd use the little hook shotgun to just like blow up some critical stuff or to like damage some first enemies, and then we would go in and have the fight. It sounded pretty great to us. Until we realized that every fucking player just puts the hook shot on the corner and just shoots the slow-ass gun for 25 minutes until everything in the next room is dead.
Yep.
And then they go in.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, yeah, that makes a lot of fucking sense. We worked on that for like 3 days. We gave it to somebody and we're like, nope, ain't it. Just not it. And it's so easy to have these, especially with these big games, it's so easy to think like, oh, but what if we just do that? And literally, I teach producers and I teach creative directors in games. If anybody uses the word just in anything at all, no, absolutely not. If you say the word just, I want you to come back to me with a 5-page report on why that thing is fucking gonna work, and then we'll talk.
Just make it good.
Yeah.
Just make it good. That's it. Just add better rewards. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah.
For all you jokers saying just in chat right now, you owe Rami a 5-page report.
That's true.
Yes.
So go get started.
It's on his desk on Monday.
Yeah.
That's tomorrow.
Cap and Rami wants
that's It's like if someone says something to you, everything after the but is going to be bullshit.
So that going back, that's really interesting. So that basically means that a lot of times when receiving feedback from a vocal minority in your game community, it's almost just as much actual game design response as it is PR response. Like dealing with like making sure that expectations are managed properly and that all of that is in alignment, basically.
Right. And then basically finding the background solutions to the problem people are having. So again, we're not going to listen to what they want. We're going to listen to what the problem is that they're talking about. If you get the feedback that a boss is too hard, right? This boss is too hard. That can mean many things. But one of the worst solutions is probably to make the boss easier. Because why is that boss too hard? Is it in the wrong place in the game? Do you not get health packs? Are your weapons not good? Is there a selection or a build that is fairly common that makes it hard to beat that boss, right? What are the actual structural underlying problems that people are having issues with? And are those problems actually things you want to solve or should solve? And if not, how do you mitigate for that issue? So that feedback kicks off a design discussion about, okay, so what are they actually saying? The response, however, is 95% just PR. It has to be. Like, we can't respond that fast. Like, we can't just go like, oh yeah, that's fucking great feedback. Yeah, let me just update. Yeah, okay, yeah, we got it. Yeah, it's good. Like, it's gonna take 3 to 6 months at the minimum for most games to deal with the feedback people give us. Right? Like, it's just
big games. Yeah.
Yeah. For big games, but even for indie games, like they have smaller capacities of teams, right? So, like, even for Nuclear Throne, a lot of times we would get feedback. It would take us 4 to 6 weeks to implement it. We're like a 5-person team. Like,
well, but also
yeah.
I would imagine that it would have to be, it would have to take time to gather the voices because, like, no one's going to listen to one voice, but 100 voices gets a little bit louder, But it also takes time for those voices to accumulate, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Now, I had a question a while ago, and I wanted to ask you, Rami, just a fun question, percentage-wise, if you can give me a percentage, how many gamers actually know what they want? How many gamers ask for shit, but they don't know actually what they really want?
So that's the thing, right? Like, I think gamers know what they want, they just don't know how to get it.
Okay.
I think that's the distinction. I think gamers know what they want.
There you
People
go.
know what they want. They want to. Basically, y'all make a contract with us for us to lie to you. That's the deal. Our lie is the game, right? And you're gonna pretend you are this cool hero person that's gonna save fucking Shinra or whatever. Like, you're gonna fuck up Shinra and like save the universe, and all of it is bullshit. We've had this conversation before, right? It's just polygons and numbers. So what you know is what lie you want. It's like romantic comedies. You ever watch a rom-com? That's a fucking contract. You sign a contract. The contract when you watch a rom-com is you're going to watch two people. They have a relationship. Shit goes to hell. There's a scene in the rain, and then they get back together.
Always the rain.
That's the deal.
Yeah.
There has to be the rain, right?
In the contract.
If that rom-com ends with the main character gets hit by a car 7 times,
Jesus Christ.
Well, then it wins an Oscar.
You would be like, what the? No, there's literally there's that one romantic movie that ends with like the main character dying at like 9/11, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah. I know exactly. I can't remember the name, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was me, Joe Black. Yeah, but that's the thing, right?
Yes.
Like there's a contract of what you expect, and gamers sign a contract with us. They sign a contract that there's a certain experience that they're looking to have, and whether that experience is feeling like a hero or building your favorite farm or whatever it is, we keep to that contract, right? And gamers are never wrong about that part. They're never wrong about that part. But how they get it? No, they didn't. People don't know. Like there's a small percentage of gamers that actually genuinely understands game design. They go into the spreadsheets. They output the numbers. They write those fucking Reddit posts where you're just reading them, and as a game designer, you're like, "Holy fuck, this person went hard."
Emotional
now
damage.
Wait, does that
right.
help or hinder you when
those are fucking fascinating? I love
awesome.
those. I fucking love those. Like watching somebody figure out the numbers and like go into like the modifiers and the 0.1s and the 0.005s and going like, well, this means that they were probably aiming for that, and like I feel like they're aiming like this changed, so I think they're aiming at that.
That's how you get
hired. That's fucking game design.
Yeah,
that is game design. That is literally what we do. We don't sit there being like, oh, wouldn't it be great to add a fucking dragon? We're like, if we increase this by 0.001, is that gonna break the balance of PvP? It's like, do we know? No. If we touch this, what else could that's it. We don't sit there having like cool game ideas. We're like, fuck. If this gun shoots 2% faster because we're gonna upgrade this weapon class to be that, I think that might break that one boss fight that we made in 2014. Like that's the shit that game design is, right?
Yeah.
So for watching somebody do game design is fucking fascinating. I love that. Like you also get like artist breakdowns who like pull an asset from the game and go like, look at this. Fucking love it.
Dude, you just reminded me of a game I recently played. It's an indie title called Bots Are Stupid. And it is a programmer game. Like you program like jump here. And you put in times like 0.01 seconds. Wait. Or wait 0.01 seconds. Throw hook. Wait. Detach hook. Like all the like shit is in there, and you get points for how little code you need to get the goal, and all this kind of stuff. And it painstakingly showed me the difference between 0.001 seconds and 0.002 seconds. Like seriously, it is a matter of having a nice full arc swing or hitting the corner and just going. Boop.
Yep,
like, it was crazy.
There's a really good programmer joke that is like, can you go to the supermarket and bring me a loaf of bread? It's like, yeah, of course. And it's like, and if they have milk, bring 4. And the guy comes back with 4 loaves of bread. And the guy asks why, and they're like, well, because they had milk.
Yeah,
that's programming.
You completed the condition.
I saw that on TikTok like 2 days ago.
Yeah,
that joke exists in a million variations everywhere. But that's it. Like so much of game development, so much of it's just like dumb logic stuff, spreadsheets, numbers, and like that is our job. Like our job is not the people always glamorize it, but like our job is like a lot of spreadsheets. So many spreadsheets.
Let me ask you this then. You brought up Destiny. You said 3 to 6 months for changes.
Destiny. I've just never,
why the fuck did it take 10 years, Rami, before they put in loadouts, before they put what happened there, Rami?
My guess, right? And this is something I learned when I was doing Nuclear Throne. My guess is that if you can offload the responsibility to somebody else
with them
and they do a good job, then you don't have to do the customer support.
That is true.
It's so much nicer. It's great. Like with Nuclear Throne, somebody else did the online multiplayer. They made a mod that was online multiplayer. People kept asking us, put it in the game, put it in the game. We're like, fuck no. Yeah, man, the amount of customer support I need to do if that was in the game? No, just download the fucking mod. Like, sheesh. Like,
that's the Elden Ring co-op experience right there.
Yeah, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, then it's not. We didn't make it.
Yeah.
But like, we just didn't have the capacity. If I was doing customer support for online Nuclear Throne, I would still be answering emails now, and it's been like a few years. So
sure.
That's kind of the like. I think Bungie is, for better or for worse, they're very good at figuring out what they can experiment with and how to do it. And if you look back the past 4 years, every expansion they've done has touched another major system of the game and brought it up to level. And now they're doing endgame, right? They're doing endgame, which is your loadouts, your visuals, your cosmetics, your power light level. They're playing with power level. They're playing with difficulty. They're playing with like, how do we create aspirational content? And like previous time, it was the subclasses. Not enough expression in your subclasses. So every time they're just touching these major systems, but they're doing it one by one by one by one to make sure that when they change something, they don't break everything else. And sometimes they do still break everything else, but
every week I think is about when they break everything else.
Yeah, but honestly, fucking amazing that a studio would do that sort of stuff, because like honestly, most studios would have just taken 5 years to do one of these things, like very slowly roll it out. And Destiny's like, listen, y'all, might break shit. If it does, we'll give you an emblem.
We'll give you something.
And then, if they break shit, they give us an emblem, and then like fuck yeah, they fix it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Are you generally excited for all the stuff with the armor changes and removing of elemental bullshit and all of that things? All of those things?
Yep, I'm so on board for it. Like like they're bringing Destiny back to where I just love that they're bringing it back to where they intentionally understand that it will be broken. Like that new system, there's no fucking way that's not going to break in like the most ridiculous fucking way.
Someone's going to find a way to break it immediately, yeah.
Oh my god, like the whole thing with like loadouts and switching and like the new version of the way the new mods work and like they're now weapon type based is like this is like exploit central. Like this is just like we are like for like 3 weeks straight, the game is just going to break on a daily basis. And they're just like, yeah. Sounds like it'll be fun. So even
they can still play the campaign. We'll fix everything else after.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. It'll be broken.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the other thing. People always go like, "How can QA not have caught this?" Because if you have a team of 100 QA people working 40 hours a week, that is less than having like that's less than your day one. Like it's just. They're just people, they're trying. And then even if they find shit, like often we can't fix it.
Before launch.
Shit. An exercise I do with people is I teach them triage, where basically, did you know the game?
Wait a minute, you know triage as well as pilot, as well as a game developer? Who are you?
It's too powerful.
So here's the thing: the games industry is fucking. We're fucking dramatic. We're fucking.
You don't
dramatic.
say.
We're a bunch of fucking divas. We're a bunch of divas.
Wow.
Here's the thing. The word for triage comes from military, where it is to choose between like a number of injured people and figuring out who you can save best. That's triage. So we also use that word for figuring out what feature to save, because we're a bunch of hyper-dramatic divas, right? So when we're trying to figure out what feature to fix or what bug to fix, we call it triage. And I teach when I have a team of young producers, I teach them, okay, imagine you have a game. Two bugs, 1 week to solve them. Both bugs cost 1 week to solve, right? You're launching in a week, right? No way out. Bug 1, every person who plays it gets a bug in the tutorial that crashes the game, restarts it, and loads it back into the start of the tutorial. From that point on, it will work. There will be no further issues, and the game will function. Option 2. Option 1 happens on every computer. Every person who plays it. Option 2. 1 in a million people will have a chance of getting their hard drive formatted. Okay? 1 in a million. You're expecting about 15,000 sales on launch. What do you fix?
Choice one.
I'd go second.
First one.
I'm choice 2.
Well,
I'm
considering the law of mathematics, that would also mean that every single person that buys your game, their hard drive will be erased. So I guess that's to consider.
A hard drive is impossible to recover, but people can restart a tutorial once. That's fine.
But you're not.
I guess it depends on how. Now, Rami,
how many times like they boot up the game? I'm guessing it
how
reduces itself every time they boot up the game.
Players?
You
like our players?
That happening?
Or are they all jerks?
So here's the thing: there is no real right answer, right?
Damn it! It was one of those questions. I wanted the points.
You can argue either way, and you look in chat. They're arguing either way. Nobody's agreeing on this.
Yeah.
Right. Because you can make a very good argument.
You can kind of look at the responses and judge where they should be in game development. Like, that person should be in PR because first impressions are too important.
Right.
That's correct.
Right.
That person should be in QA because they want to blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Then someone like me is like, do you want to inconvenience a bunch of people or utterly break the fucking heart of a few?
Yeah.
I'd rather inconvenience a bunch of people than break the heart of a few.
Where I'm like, break their hearts!
So
and the rest of you can enjoy the game.
There you go.
So here's the thing. These things, right, are discussions we have continuously when we're talking about feedback, we're talking about issues, and they're not like as dramatic as this example. Like, erasing somebody's hard drive is like not good. Like, that's bad. But also,
turns out it's not good.
But
okay,
also,
hold on. On the
every
good,
single person.
No, it's over here.
It's like
it's
kind of that direction. But having every person crash is also not good because crashes can also cause a lot of issues for a hard drive or for a game or for anything. But also, it's the first impression, like a lot of people are saying.
Exactly.
If a game crashes on your first impression, you're going to tank your reviews, and you might not have money.
How many people are going to crash and never play it again?
Right.
Like,
and the chance of 1 in a million with only 15,000 sales projected is fairly small. So the chance that you're actually going to format any hard drive is 0. But 1 in a million means that it's also mathematically unlikely but possible that you format 150 hard drives. Because that's how chances work, right? So there's no actual correct answer. And this is continuously, when we're looking at stuff, we are like trying to balance all of these different things and trying to be like, well, okay, who's going to be angry at this? How many are going to be angry at this? How angry are they going to be when they get angry at this? What is the chance of this becoming a press story? What is the chance of this becoming a Reddit story? What are the chances of this becoming a...
Yeah.
We just have to guess. That's leadership. If you want to know what a creative director does, it's this sort of shit. Like, we have 3 things that are broken. We have time to fix 1.
Imagine that 1 in a million is the largest site that releases a review of your game before it comes out.
It's just the IGN computer.
They erased the company hard drive.
Dude,
imagine like the first large review from like IGN is like, this game erased our hard drive.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Masterpiece. We don't have to go back to work.
We don't have to play any work.
We're good.
It honestly gives me nervous anxiety for just people that release games because situations like Ko just described, totally real. Like it's happened before.
Yeah, I mean, look recently, Callisto Protocol. They accidentally didn't release the day 1 patch to reviewers. Like, literally, some dude just screwed up. Like, an intern messed up, and all of a sudden, the internet is on fire with. Like, this game's terrible. It doesn't run. It stutters. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
It's
and the devs like, no. It's bad for other reasons, but not that one.
Yeah. We had the same thing happen in aviation. Somebody accidentally overrode a thing and took down the entire NODAM system, which is the system that tells pilots they should look out for a crane or a mountain or shit like that.
Yeah.
Or like a runway being closed.
That was like a month ago, right? Or 2 weeks ago or something like that?
A few weeks ago. Like, just somebody mispressed. They basically deleted a backup thing and it just took down the entire United States.
It's like, so the whole system is down and so is the backup.
Right.
It's like,
that was a terrifying news thing to wake up to. It's like, every flight in the world is grounded.
And just the entire US just stopped.
They're the US. That's what it was. Yeah.
Same thing, right? Like, in games, it's not that severe, but the gamers will absolutely make it.
The gamers will make it dramatic and that severe, yeah.
It.
Well, and to be fair,
your game is down.
Yeah, and talking about the hard drive release and the bad review, I mean, a lot of gamers, your game is their whole world up until that point.
Right.
Like sometimes like they're really looking forward to their favorite game dev releasing their next big game. And it's like, that's, they're not even playing other games because they're waiting for yours so much that those aren't fun anymore. And it's like, then all of a sudden one of those things happens. And real quick before we move on, I've seen a couple people mention this. Rami, you've clearly really dived into a lot of game dev stuff today. Do you have any go-to literature or resources on people that want to like learn more about this stuff?
If they want to know more about the business, the best place to look are like the games industry websites, and they usually come from more of an industry background. But GameDeveloper.com is a pretty good choice. GamesIndustry.biz is a good choice. And honestly, if you like the games industry, two really good choices of books to look into are Michael Futter did a book about games business that I can really strongly recommend if you care about sort of like the business. It's more focused on independent developers, but a lot of those ideas sort of extrapolate to.
Can you say that name one more time? Potentially spell it.
It is. It's Michael Futter. It's Futterish on Twitter. He's kind of he's a person who wrote a lot about games business.
Gotcha.
But it is called Game Dev Budgeting Handbook.
Okay.
And then the other book that I would recommend is A Playful Production Process for Game Designers and Everyone by Richard Lemarchand. A Playful Production Process for Game Designers. And Richard Lemarchand is one of my favorite people in games. He used to work on Uncharted, and after that he led the USC in LA's experimental gameplay program.
Oh, wow.
So he's a very good game designer, but he came from a place where he was also very tied with AAA production processes. So he understands not just how to create interesting stuff, but also how to make sure that it actually gets made.
Right.
Which is
from thought to actual product.
Yeah. So
cool.
If you just want like a bunch of random stuff to read, those two are really good places to start.
Yeah. Cool. There's a ton of different news stories that we could jump to. Also, the reason that
not 7-7.
Yeah, well, did you see the Ubisoft stuff? I mean, I could say the Ubisoft stuff, and that probably means a lot of stuff.
Are you talking about the riots?
It's a part of that. Yeah, it had to do with Eve, the CEO, who in a an all hands email said something and then apologized for it, and it's just like an absolute mess. Co-mentioned the riots that are happening. I think that's in France. Was that yesterday that they did the 3 or 4 hour strike? I think that was yesterday. If not, that's next week.
People in France did a strike? No
yeah,
way.
They're doing like a walkout for like for 3 to 4 hours. Yeah. I
love the French for that stuff.
The email sent the question, the CEO, Yves Guillemot, basically told the employees, quote unquote, the ball is now in your court when it came to the success or failure of Ubisoft.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, not his court, but the employee's court. Someone followed up and sent a question and kind of the next all hands and said, the ball's now in our court. For years, it has been in your court. So why did you mishandle the ball so badly? So we, the workers, have to fix it for you. He came back and said, I heard your feedback, and I'm sorry this was perceived that way, which is probably not the best way to respond to that.
Oh, my God.
I'm getting some Wizard of the Coast vibes here.
He basically said, like,
your feelings were hurt.
I hear what you're saying, and I'm sorry that you took it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, that one stings a little bit.
Yeah.
That one stings a little bit.
He went on to say he wanted to convey the, quote, talent and energy of the company staff and referred to its production process as a collective journey. There were several sources that told Kotaku that the apology failed to help their concerns or alleviate their concerns about the company's direction, and that the meeting was, quote, light on specifics. This was 4 days ago.
What apology?
Yeah.
There was no apology.
Rami, he's sorry that you felt that way.
Oh my fucking God.
He's sorry it was your fault.
Well, at least give them the money too. Then put the money in the ball, and then give us the ball.
It's kind of ridiculous. Yeah.
No, I mean, like I will say, right? Like, it is good to be in a games industry that is calling this shit out.
Yeah.
Because 5 years ago we wouldn't.
You wouldn't have even known about it. You wouldn't even heard about it. Yeah.
This change is good. It's good. It's atrocious, but like this won't fly anymore, right? Like this shit will get your company in trouble, and that is good because did he really say, "I'm sorry that was perceived that way"?
Yeah, that's a direct quote, according to, I think it was on Eurogamer.net. So credible.
Really does have vibes of the Wizard of the Coast line about like, no, you think.
Oh yeah, did you see that quote, Rami?
But no, did you see that one?
I have it as a command in my chat. The direct quote is. So first off, do you know about all the OGL Wizards of the Coast stuff?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I've been following.
So
that,
in their like press release, to respond to all of it after almost 2 weeks of being silent, within said post, they said towards the end, they kind of already like mentioned and said everything they needed to say. They could have just stopped fucking talking. They added 2 extra paragraphs to the end, and at the end of the first paragraph, they said, "You're going to hear people say that they won and we lost, ... Those people will only be half right. They won and so did we."
Actual PR document.
Yeah. And again, what they're saying...
That was released in response to people yelling at them.
Yeah. Which... I understand what they're saying. It doesn't give any leeway to how stupid that statement is to begin with. Even after you understand what they're trying to say is thank you for speaking up, because of you speaking up, we're also going to flourish. Keep doing this type thing. Just say thank you for speaking up.
Fuck. Just what? Who frames this in terms of win and lose?
Yeah.
Who goes in and is like, you know what we really need? You know what we really need? We need to really emphasize that there was like winning and losing here. And that, you know, like we're not the losers. We're not the losers.
Yeah.
We're not the losers.
I've got it. I like after thinking about it for just 2 minutes. How about this? If you want to use that kind of terminology, just say, when you speak up, we all win. How about that?
Well, that's what Microsoft does. Yeah.
Or better yet, they could have just said, in this situation, there are no losers.
Or
like,
even
there's
better,
1,000 better ways that they could have said.
Yeah,
they could have conveyed the meaning without being like, "This is what you thought, but you're wrong." You think you won, but you didn't.
Could have just said fucking nothing.
Yeah.
What the fuck is the point?
Yeah.
What the fuck is the point? Like,
well, they did for 2 weeks, and it just got worse and worse and worse because people kept leaking things, which is a good thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but they just couldn't. The water was too much. They were.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't like leaks. Like let's be very clear. I'm not a fan of leaks, right? Like, I'm not. But this kind of leak, where people are doing bad shit behind the scenes and they're trying to fuck people over on the way there.
Yeah.
No. That leak that shit. Like
leak that shit. Yeah.
But like an announcement that's going to happen in 2 days. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. Like,
right. Let them have the announcement.
Let us have the fucking announce. Like, come on, we work for it.
Right.
But for this kind of stuff, for like, you know, people getting screwed over, no, go for it.
How
So how the fuck do you fuck up that bad with that license? Like what?
Oh, dude, yeah, I've talked about it to death. It's
all last episode we were talking about it.
And they've issued some actual 2 updates this past week. They put out like essentially the new OGL, and they have 2 weeks of conversation. You could submit like your feelings on the OGL. And so they
can invalidate them in real time.
Yeah. So they could gaslight you while you're watching.
They completely within said statement that they released, they completely like backpedal on everything. But in the actual document that they released, they didn't really backpedal that much at all. Like there's still some pretty big things in there that need to change for it to be actually good for the community.
This is the kind of thing where the reason it took 2 weeks has nothing to do with them actually fixing shit. It's they needed to realign internally on how much shit they thought they were going to get away with.
Right. And talk to
that's what took 2 weeks
on everything. Right. Yeah.
But the honest truth is, I don't think they intend to change much.
In the document they released, they're not. Here's the thing. No. The WotC is in an impossible situation, and I'm not like saying this to come to their aid or anything. They're in an impossible situation because they are literally arguing with an entire community of rules lawyers. Like people that play a game where the entire game is basically an argument to try to figure out how to not get fucked over by someone.
Well, and not
only they're getting fucked over by someone.
The entire thing, every single bit of all the OGL drama comes down to a single number, a one singular number that they want to make as high as possible, and that is the percentage of money that they're taking from people using their material.
For the most
part, it's
like,
and just like Rami said, like none of this other stuff matters. The only thing that matters is that number is as high as possible, and the company still exists by the end of it.
Yeah.
And if those two, and that's it. And clearly, by their actions, that is their end game. Like it is not making the player base happy. It is making the player base as complacent as possible while keeping that number as high as possible.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: there's one thing you learn dealing with outrage like this, right? Is that the outrage only mobilizes so often, right?
So
you make this a thing.
Yeah.
The backlash comes. You give them a little bit. You give them a little bit. You don't give them everything. You give them a little bit. Now it will be harder to organize that same outrage again, right? And if it happens again, you give them a little bit, and people get tired, and people, they say they'll move on, and they'll stop arguing, and you just keep doing that, right? And delaying actually helps with that. Keeping the energy of a movement going is really hard.
Totally, right? Yeah. I mean, I'm already tired.
If there's no response,
I've been very lazy with my response to it. Yeah.
Right, and you can do it once. You can maybe do it twice, but after 2 or 3 times, a lot of people are going to go like, dude, like, they've already made 2 adjustments. Like, come on, just either or just don't play the fucking video game. Not video game. Don't play the fucking game.
Yeah.
Don't play any materials based on it. And that's the fucking annoying thing is they're stalling.
They're trying to delay it as much as possible. Yeah.
Give you a little bit, stall. And then, how long are they going to take taking feedback? 2 weeks?
2 weeks. They got 2 weeks.
Yeah, of course, 2 weeks. Great, 2 weeks. Like, how many people are going to keep their energy up through that 2 weeks?
Right.
Their biggest problem now is going to be when they release the next thing, it's going to be a flashpoint again. So watch them try and manage that. Watch them try. They'll probably start, like, posting some ideas from it one by one to sort of, like, spread out the flashpoint. And then if it becomes a problem again, they'll just do another one.
Right. I mean, they had a actual memo/email leaked that pretty much said, yeah, let's stall this out. Right. They're going to forget about
what you do.
I think I don't want to say it was a direct quote, but it was something along the lines of like, they'll forget about this in a week and move on.
So you plan for 2 weeks.
Yeah. So let's
but that's literally it.
Yeah.
That's literally it. Right. Yeah. And that's, with this kind of stuff, with PR stuff, it's really terrifying how well people understand, because understanding one person is really hard, but understanding a large group of people, actually fairly predictable.
Right.
It's fairly predictable. Yeah. And that's fucking terrifying, because they will get away with it unless people keep the energy up, and keeping the energy up is really hard.
There are now the one thing they don't have going for them in that regard is that a lot of the most vocal leaders of like these D&D kind of opposition managers, we'll call them, whatever you want to call them, the people that are keeping this alive, it is their life. Like the dungeon masters, like the professional dungeon masters, and they are able to keep all of those people that play with them or watch them like at a pretty high energy level. It's one thing if it was like a game or a game company where there's thousands of other games and game companies like releases coming up and stuff like this, but in this case it's like
unique.
This is many of their whole lives. Like they have poured literally decades of their life into this. So I think you're exactly right that it's looking like that's exactly what they're going to do, but they have their work cut out for them if they're going to try to extinguish that fire, when it's literally going to be burning nonstop until the issue is resolved in many of their user base.
Yeah.
I think the one thing you have to remember is what they're going to be trying is they're going to be trying to make it so that the rules are less bad.
Yes.
And making them feel like they won.
Yep.
And not just that, also making it so that the people at the ground level feel like maybe the people at the top are maybe exaggerating a bit. It's not that bad. You're only losing a bit. Like, because if they can play them out against each other from a PR perspective, that will be the best outcome.
You mean make everyone else fight internally?
Make them fight.
That's already
make
happening.
The people using the systems go against the people that would have their cut taken from them.
Quite literally happened last week because there was an email that leaked that said certain content creators were sent the document before they published it, and that spread like wildfire through the community because people are like, "Oh, they paid these content creators off to help or
good way of doing it."
Yeah,
interesting.
So
they're playing the normal. It's the normal PR playbook for these kind of situations. Like you try and give a little bit stall, and then you push back on you try to create division and push back.
Yeah,
and then you stall. You stall. You just keep stalling. Stalling is probably
literally
the safest possible bet.
Chat brings up the interesting point, but wouldn't this in the case wouldn't in this case with Paizo coming out with their own license agreements really put pressure on Wizards of the Coast and shorten their timeline? The issue is that some people are. You could say that, but at the same time, there's people that aren't using Paizo stuff for the reasons of they're never wanting to do it anyway.
They're never going to.
So it doesn't matter how good the license is. So if anything, and this is a weird way to kind of look at this, but Paizo doing that could actually be in Wizards of the Coast's favor by distilling the audience by splitting the people that could be vocal about this stuff, and instead making it so it's easier to go after the people that are actually giving them money.
Very true.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword in that regard.
Yeah.
This kind of shit is just like, honestly, frankly, it's bullshit. Like the whole situation shouldn't have happened. But it's, again, what we were talking about before. If you put business people in touch of,
at the top,
in control of the entire ship, these kind of things happen. And normally in healthy businesses, there's somebody with creative vision or idealism or sort of like an idea of where the journey is going
at the top
that sits between the business people and where actual actions get implemented. And that's literally how we structure game studios. It's what Phil Spencer is doing at Microsoft. It's like, this guy actually genuinely cares. And I know a lot of people are like, not 100% sure on that, or sort of like personify Phil as like everything good and everything bad at Microsoft. But he's literally the shield, right? That's what he does.
He stops the suits. Yeah.
And here's the thing: at Wizards, it sounds like that is just not happening at this point. And
no, Hasbro wants money. I mean, they are on record stating like, we need to monetize D&D better. We're doing a poor job of monetizing D&D.
And again, when you have
yeah,
go ahead.
You can do a lot better than pissing off the entire fucking community in one fucking go, specifically the people making the most money.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny because this goes back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier, where it's like, Hasbro, the people that care about money, like that's what they care about. They want more money. They got people at Hasbro that are coming down to Wizards of the Coast and saying, we don't really care what you do, but we do care about how much money you make. How are we going to make that happen? And then all of a sudden we see all this stuff start coming.
That's the issue, because
if familiar. I don't know. Like, it sounds like, God, it sounds like it's really familiar, like really close to home, what you just said. And I can't put my finger on why.
Yeah, I don't know.
Your Prime subs.
Yeah, it's true.
I think the biggest thing is, I don't mind if Hasbro comes in and they go to Wizards of the Coast and they say like, hey, we need to monetize better. No fucking problem with that. That's fair.
Yeah,
business,
no, that's
right?
that's business. That's an internal memo. That's a company directive. Put out some more merchandise.
Right, but when you come in and you set a target that needs to structurally reapproach what the product is, that's when you get shit.
Yeah.
And not only that, not only that, they're taking from their community and they're not providing anything in return.
Yep.
Like we talked about this a little bit last week. Like what if they had approached this with a give-take philosophy, where it's like, hey, our new OGL, we're going to be taking more, but we are going to provide you with, we're going to give value to what we are taking from you. Like it's not a give-take at all. It's just a take. And of course, it's going to make anyone angry, especially considering, like, I'm sure Rami might have looked into this, but they were talking about taking like 700. Anyone that makes over 750,000 revenue, they weren't taking a percentage of the gross profit. They were taking a portion of the revenue. So it's like they literally could take all of the money a company is making, just to line their own pocket. That
part was bad.
It's actually insanity.
The other part that was bad is that by creating under any of that content at any point, Wizards could just take your content and do whatever they wanted with it. They could turn it into a TV show and they owe you nothing.
Yeah, and,
that's crazy. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah. But I think Code touches on something really, really valuable, and it's a thing that we as designers think about a lot as well. It's way cheaper to give people something that they didn't have than to take something away that they already have.
Right.
So when we add things, we have to make sure that we can actually support it and sustain it, because if we have to take it away again, people get pissed off.
Right.
Rightfully so. But Wizards basically came in with the argument that it's just like, so listen, you love this shit, but it's just like, we really should have been charging more. So we're just going to do that. We're just, we're good.
And you're cool with that, right? You're good? We're good?
We're good, right? Yeah.
We're good.
No, it's fine. Like, there's inflation everywhere. We're having some inflation issues. We're just going to inflate our shit. Yeah. Like, the strategy rollout of this was so poorly planned. Like, what did they expect?
I don't know.
Like,
that's the wild
there's been the 20-person meeting here.
They've already had the what's going to happen meeting. Yeah, for sure.
And I think what's interesting is I think what you said earlier, Rami, may be exactly what's going on. Where they did this, for instance, what's the percent they're trying to take? 25 or something?
25
like
from the highest earners, yeah.
What if their goal was always 10%? That was their goal. Yeah. And just like Rami said, that let's drop a bomb, piss everyone off, and that way when we get down to the number that's more our speed that we were planning on doing anyway, by that time everything's diffused and the world is turning like normal and everyone's moved on to the next big dramatic thing, and then they don't have to deal with that other stuff. Like, what if they get 12%? It's like, cool. Well, it's a victory for us. We got 2% more than we wanted anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe the whole point of this was to piss people off. Maybe that was the intention of this.
Yeah, one of the oldest negotiation tactics is bring something to the table that you can give up, right?
Yeah.
Anchor.
Well, in this case, it's and just like classic car haggling, or property haggling, put your bid way under what you thought what you're willing to pay, and that way your meet in the middle was your goal that you were planning on from the beginning anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, we do it with games prices.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
You want to put a
cynical thought I hate, but it's totally true. Like, that shit happens all the time. And I hate that it happens, and I hate that it's a cynical thought, but it's like, no, that shit happens all the time.
It's not even cynical, it's just that's a technique.
It's a technique.
That is a way that this occurs. Yeah. And it comes down to it, like you were saying, like, who would approve what they did?
Right.
Nobody is going to be just okay with did they actually think that anyone was going to be all right with that? Of course they didn't, because they have brains in their heads, we hope. So it's like
you would be surprised. So two things. The anchoring thing, we do it with games price all the time, right? If you have a team and they say like $9.99, you tell them price of $12.99, discounted to $9.99 at launch, right?
I'm just gonna say that I never buy a game and never see a game on Steam that is not discounted. Yeah. Almost never do I see it unless it's a big publisher.
We'll talk about Factorio in just a second, Zeke.
Okay.
But the other part is, what the scariest thing is about corporate boards like this, and I consult on a number of larger companies, right? As somebody who works with directors or higher level people. The groupthink in those rooms can be fucking terrifying, where you're just listening to a bunch of business people and creative directors sitting in a room just talking shit, and you're just listening, because that's why they bring people like me in sometimes for certain meetings. They need an outside perspective.
You just need to stand up and start screaming. Not even words.
I have literally stood in a room full of games industry executives, and I've told them y'all need to stop with this woe is me bullshit. We're the people in charge of this fucking industry, and you're telling me that this shit isn't working, and what can we do? Fucking fix it. You're literally the fucking people that are supposed to fix this shit. You're not the people that need to be like, No, fucking fix it. Jesus Christ. And I literally have stood in the room, just been like, listen, nobody else is going to fix this. Like, fix it.
Yeah.
Right? They were talking about like salaries. Salaries are getting too high.
Oh God.
And again, that's because y'all refuse to train. You refuse to train people. You let them burn out when they were junior. Yeah, now you pay. That's your problem. So how are we going to fix this?
When you told the execs to just fix it, did one of them stand up and say, I need a 5-page paper on exactly what you mean by that, Mr. Rami? And then you probably provided it.
I actually
probably did.
I actually did get shit from a bunch of my friends who are like, Rami, you're full of shit. But you know what? Nope. They were right. They were totally right. I'm full of shit. But that is like the group think in those rooms, people were just like, yeah, no, these conditions, like, they're really hard. I don't know what to do. I'm like, what?
While wiping their like tears with $100 bills.
Well, literally that shit. And I'm just sitting in the room. I'm like, what the fuck? And like that is what happened in that room.
Like with Hasbro, like there's 10 executives sitting around and they're like, oh, well, these guys love us. They'll understand if we need to take 25%. Yeah, we're a business. They've known for years how much we give them for free. They'd be happy to give us a little bit more.
Guaranteed sentence. This will only affect a small part of the user demographic.
Yeah, vocal minority was used, or vocal majority was used. Yeah.
100%. Somebody went and said like, well, it's only a very small percentage of the players and they are people that we are in contact with. We can.
That part was 100% sure.
Don't worry.
They reached out.
We'll just send them some contracts and have them sign it. It'll be easy, no problem, right?
And that's where the leak happened to begin with. Was contracts that were sent. Yeah,
100%. Yep. That's what happened.
100%.
I don't think they went in with the intention of anchoring. I think they went in with the intention of this is going to work, and they're now pivoting
to anchor,
to using the existing number as their anchor. Like. Yeah. 100%. They're like
probably right.
I cannot emphasize how out of touch some of these people are. Right? Like, and
they don't even play the game or care,
which is fine.
Yeah, which is fine, sure, but like
run your fucking business, but let the people who understand the product deal with things that affect the product.
Bring them into the conversation instead of just having a suit.
Can you imagine how differently it would have gone if that 10 suit group, instead of sitting in that meeting deciding how to push it onto people, instead invited out their 10 big creators? It was a 20-person meeting, and it was them going, we need to raise our prices by 25%. How do we do that?
Right.
Tell us how we do that. And it's like that would have been a success from a public relations thing. It's like, look at them trying to work with the people that they're working with. They're telling them the reality.
PR,
absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the movie World War Z with Brad Pitt or whatever?
Yeah.
There was a group of people in I don't want to say anything, but they were in Israel and they had like a group of 10 people or 8 people, and there was one ninth guy, the ninth man or whatever they called him, to whatever came up. The ninth man's job is to, however ridiculous or whatever, it was his job to like search out and say like this, like search the truth out and see if that. I think boardrooms need that. They need like a ninth man.
They have consultants,
fucking like disagree with everything.
Rami was saying he was
why it's wrong.
Yeah,
exactly.
Rami was,
right. But also like not just that. We in leadership training, in design training, you get taught the idea of the 6 thinking hats, which was like a philosopher's guy like Edward de Bono, who came up with like this idea of having hats on. And one of the hats is literally just be positive about whatever the fuck anybody says. One of the hats is be negative about whatever anybody. If somebody says like, okay, let's try and fuck over the entire community, one of the people in that room could have taken the role of like, yes, awesome. Let's do that. Let's see how we can make that work. And one person in the room should have gone like, that's fucking ridiculous. Right. And then the discussion that follows that should have been helpful. But what Zeke was saying, this idea of like, okay, why don't we just bring in a number of people and talk to them? We call it playtesting in video games. It's holy. You test. But what happened instead is these 10 people or 20 people or whatever they are, they felt they were so aware of what was going to happen and of how the business numbers fall out and how the PR management is going to happen, that those 10 people stayed theoretical. they theorized the response of those 10 people, and they went for it. They didn't user test it. They didn't focus test this. They just said like, well, it's a business decision. This business decision needs to happen. How are people going to respond? Well, it's a very small percentage. We don't think it's a significant part of the population. And a lot of the people that will be affected are people that we have existing relationships with.
Right.
And then somebody went like, well, what if there is backlash? And they went like,
we'll handle it.
I think we can control this. We'll make sure that everybody is legally covered.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. It's like,
I love that. I love that idea. Like, I imagine they'll be okay with it. I imagine that too. Do you imagine these people that would maybe be dissenting would be, cool with it? I do. Yes, I do too.
Rami, you mentioned.
Let's not ask them though. No. Let's not ask them.
You mentioned playtesting, Rami. They in the latest response, they straight up said like, yeah, we are playtesting 1 D&D, which is like the next, 6th edition, whatever. So we're going to do that now with the OGL. We're going to playtest the OGL. You have 2 weeks. Tell us what you want added to this. That's literally how they framed it.
That first.
Yeah. That's how they framed it.
Maybe we should have done that first. I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe test before you go live.
That's exactly right.
Wild idea here.
Some other things I want to ask you about right now. The biggest conversation, Zeke. We only have 45 minutes. We got to jump from topic to topic fast.
I know. I just imagine like, all right, go out and see what they said. And then like one of the executives goes out and he comes back like a week later and he's like all fucking ripped up and disheveled. Like, they did not go for it as we thought they would. We imagined it was going to be better than that.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got a black eye and a bloody nose and like a dagger literally sticking out of his back.
Exactly correct. That's how that went.
Like, fell on the negative side of things.
Rami, what are your thoughts on the Factorio
Actually, in reality,
stuff?
he'd be like, oh yeah, they loved it. Let's go. While blood is coming out of his
I got 12%. That's what he said. Yeah. So before I just boldface ask you the question, Factorio announced that I think this coming week they will be raising the price on the game from $30 to $35. And within the tweet said this is an adjustment to account for the level of inflation since the Steam release in 2016. That post on at least this one particular Reddit has over 3,000 comments, which is a lot for that particular Reddit. It's been discussed immensely. What are your thoughts on the Factorio price change, Rami?
You know what? Honest. I think it's honest. I think, like with games of this size, there's basically 2 responses that happen. It's the response to the game, and it's the response to the idea of games increasing in price, right? I think the response to the game itself and the increase of the price, it looked fairly positive to me, right? Like most people are like, yeah, mostly fair. The developer needs it, and they were honest about it, right? On the flip side, there's always the larger discussion that happens with these kind of things because we in the industry are terrified of increasing prices, like genuinely terrified. Like, yes, there is there is sort of like an overall increase in price of games, like indie games, especially 3D indie games are like on the $30 to $40 range now. Well, 5 years ago, they would have said on the $25 range, right? 2D indie games went from like the $10 range, like the $19.99 kind of range, but our budgets went up accordingly, right? So it kind of happens. But I think the larger discussion that this is going to trigger, and I think why a lot of people in the industry are watching this, is like, can we get away with a price increase?
For and just simply inflation raising. No new content, no patches. It's just a $5 increase.
Literally, the reason doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because everybody will have their own reason and they'll try to justify it their own way. But I think Factorio is unique in that it's fairly niche. And that people who like those games know that they won't get games like that from most other developers. So I think they get away with it just fine.
Yeah.
Right?
Really quick question from somebody not super experienced with this. First of all, Factorio is fully released?
Fully released, has been.
Yeah. Do the developers still support it with patches and updates?
Ooh, that's
Are they still actively working on the game?
I don't know, but that's the thing. I think that's why it's an interesting question for that reason.
I feel like it's really important because
there was a small update in December. So,
okay, Chad is saying every single month. Okay, see, that makes a lot of sense because like the idea of a game increasing due to inflation, like it's one thing if the game is done and released and it's static, because at that point resources are not going into it. But if a company is still actively developing the product, then that means that all of the resources that are actively going into it are dealing with directly inflation. So the idea of it going up because it is getting bigger, it is getting larger, it is still being worked on. And I don't know about I'm fine with that.
Right.
So it's like, especially in this case, when the game is already packed with content, people can literally get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into it. I'd feel the same way if Tynan just raised the price of RimWorld by $5.
You start to apply it to other games, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, it's kind of okay when you make something that it has such value. It'd be a completely different thing if it was a $10 one and done game or a 10-hour one and done game. Like that's a different field too.
I'm going to take the unpopular opinion here.
Let's hear it.
Not all games are service games, right? But those games still have to sustain the studio into their next game through development of the next thing, and sometimes stuff changes and prices have to change, right? And the fact that they did that and were sort of honest about sort of the context, I think that is relevant and it is a part of the discussion. Like, economy is hard right now. Like, shit's hard. Like, money is tight for a lot of people, and especially for indies that are on their first or second game and they don't have a big hit game, but they're just trying to survive. These kind of things are really relevant questions right now with so much pressure on the games industry. Like, your only ways of releasing games at this point is you work with a publisher, which means you have the boardrooms. You work with a platform, which means you have the boardrooms. And especially for independent developers doing smaller, weirder, niche games, these kinds of strategies of increasing price is I think it's an important conversation that needs to happen regardless of whether the game is a service product or not. Because personally, I'm not a big fan of every game trying to be a service game. I think supporting game is good, but I remember when the change happened from people just being happy with your game to people being like, but are you going to support this? And I'm like, but the game is fucking done. What are you talking about?
The day of actual gold discs. The day of like you press it and it's out in the wild and you're done.
I would bug fix it. If there was a bug, fuck yeah, I'll fix it. But like, I wasn't gonna go like a year later and add airplanes to Luftrausers. It's like, hell no, I'm done. Like, I made the airplanes I liked. Like, all the other ones are like, we're done. Like, I'm not adding more super great box levels. Like, are you kidding me? But you know, so part of me is wants to push back on the idea, but also part of me understands that it's very fair to expect something for something. And like, you know, this sort of started with Minecraft, I would guess, where it was just like, well, the game is in development, it's this price, and when it's done, it's going to be this price, and that's sort of how we set expectations, and that's not how it works. So,
I was just going to say that brings up the interesting question about what if Factorio was still in early access, and the game wasn't released yet, and they were saying we're increasing the cost of the game while we're developing it and continuing development of it. It's like it hasn't
before,
yet,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Or games going up in cost when they're released.
Or it's like 1.0.
It's kind of like,
yeah.
Would that make a difference if a game said I'm worth this much, but then during the course of development we're like, no, actually I'm worth this much. It's like I wonder if that would have been. I wonder how if that would have been received differently. And people in chat are saying Ark did that, which is a really good point.
A lot of
companies released a paid DLC before it was done.
Right.
Which I think is happening more and more.
Yeah.
We're figuring it out, but like this kind of stuff, like this, these are interesting experiments. I also love that they never put their game on sale. We did the same thing with Nuclear Throne.
Factorio, never put their game on sale once. Yeah,
one of the only Steam games. Nuclear Throne once. Yeah. So we did the same thing, and it actually was funny because we got the same thing when we put it on sale. It was a news article, and we were
like, so he's just saving up for that free press when he's done.
If they ever go on sale, it will be a thing.
It'll be a thing, yeah. I guess
we made so much money on the Nuclear Throne sale we did. It was preposterous. Everybody who had it on the wish list was like, okay, it might never go on sale again. We'll just grab it now.
Right. No, you instill the idea that this is never going to happen again. I should buy. Yeah. Wow.
Honestly, I just like that was the thing we said. We were a little idealistic. We just said, like, fuck it. Our game is not a sales game. You buy the game for the price, that's the price. Everybody buys it at the same price. Then obviously we got messages from countries where the economy was weaker and they're like, fucking hell, dude, that's like most of my expendable income for the month. Please put it on sale. And we were like, can we just quietly give you a Steam key?
Yeah.
That's such a Rami thing to do.
I grew up poor. Like, I get it. But it's that kind of thing, So eventually we were like, fuck it, we'll put it on sale. Like, just give everybody the chance to buy it. But it blew up. It was huge.
Right. Next thing I want to jump to, the European Parliament. They have voted to take action against loot boxes, gaming addiction, gold farming, and more. They have a whole list of things that they are doing in this thing. Just wanted to get your conversation, your thoughts on governmental oversight of the industry.
So I know a bit more of this story because I was involved in some of it.
Yeah.
But the short version is they didn't vote on oversight. They voted for a research into alternative earning strategies so they can offer an alternative in case oversight happens.
Gotcha.
So this is step one of a larger process. That said,
there
is absolutely an initiative within the European Union of creating a Europe-level legislation, which I'm actually a huge fan of, because right now it's a mess. The Netherlands and Belgium actually have separate legalese that bans loot boxes in games.
Right.
Which means that, for example, Diablo Immortal was not available.
Right.
Here. Well, other countries do not or have different regulations. And the more that's fragmented, the harder it is to sort of create games for the region. So I think a Europe-level solution would obviously change the amount of people affected from 30 million between the Netherlands and Belgium to the entire European bloc, which is hundreds of millions and a fairly big market for people. Yeah. So I think this is good news. And the thing is, and this is one of the things I said in one of the conversations I had about it back in the days when this was an idea, was I told them, listen, as games industry, I would love nothing more than to tell you that we can self-regulate. We did with Peggy. We did with ESRP. We did with H ratings. We can self-regulate, but clearly we are failing. We're failing to regulate loot boxes. We're failing to create sustainable, sane, moral, ethical, user-friendly, consumer-friendly guidelines for how this should work. And if we cannot do that, we need a stick. We need somebody to come after our asses. I didn't say that literally, but we need somebody to come after our asses and hit us until we go, okay, wait, sorry. Because in the end, governmental oversight will always be more restrictive than anything the industry would put on itself. So maybe this will cause conversation in the industry to sort of happen and be well, okay, maybe we'll get ahead of this. Maybe we'll think of alternatives and work with the government on sort of creating a middle. I think loot boxes have to go. I've never been a fan, but they are too close to gambling. And
sure, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I know the argument that it's similar to booster packs, but here's the difference. If you go into a store,
booster packs are gambling. Right?
Right. But if you go into a store and you try to buy $1,000 worth of booster packs,
WotC did that, yeah.
I think but there's a difference between a 7-year-old walking in to buy 1,000 booster packs.
Sure, yeah.
Right. If you're a 7-year-old walking into a store trying to buy 1,000 booster packs, they're going to say no. If you're doing it in a game, it's going to say absolutely. Also, do you want to buy an additional 200?
What year were you born in? Let me go ahead and just adjust that to
1842. 1842, y'all.
Super quick sub question: what you're talking about? Do you see a difference between loot boxes you pay money for and loot boxes that you earn in game?
Right. So here's the thing: loot boxes I earn in game.
Great question.
Absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. We do that all the time because effectively any boss drop in Destiny is a loot box.
It's just disguised as something else. Yeah.
We use random drops all the time, right? But
they're loot boxes you got to work for. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
They're the friction, right? But loot boxes with money, even if it is a loot box you could also earn in game. Loot boxes that you have to pay for, per definition, are gambling. Now, they're trying alternatives where it's a loot box where there's an item in it, but there is also a currency in it that will allow you to buy the thing eventually. But if that currency amount is unstable, it is still gambling, right? And the whole reason loot boxes work is because people like the thrill of maybe getting a thing.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the same reason an entire guild gets together to kill a boss in an MMO.
Yeah. But if you make it money instead of time, then you create this awkward situation where it's literally gambling. So I'm hugely in favor of killing loot boxes, paid loot boxes. Just fucking blast them, right? Because I just don't think there's anything good that comes from it. I think in terms of like, how do you deal with like random drops? No, random drops are great. I just do not think that loot box should be the solution. If you want like soft currency that you can buy, sure, soft currency that you can buy. Have like a weekly thing that allows you to pick one of 5 items, and you can only use that soft currency for it. It's still a little bit gambling, but you know eventually the thing you want is going to happen, right? And you don't have to pay more money for it. You just have to put the right amount of currency in your account to be able to buy it. I think that's fair. But the gambling thing, nah, it needs to go. That's what I told them. If anybody is unhappy with it, I don't give a shit. Like, fuck loot boxes. Like, I'm done with them. Like, it's a blight on the industry.
It is absolutely,
it's a blight on game design.
Yeah,
it's nice to have like hard examples, because I have to admit it doesn't and never feels good when you know that there's entire teams and groups and departments that their entire purpose is to obfuscate exactly what you're saying into things that aren't that way. Like, literally they're at the company to be like, okay, we want them to put money in for random items, but we don't want to do loot boxes because that's something that's kind of triggering to our base right now. So what can we do? And that's when you see like the Diablo Immortal Gem system, where it's like, it's not a loot box, but you can buy the stuff to make it so you get better loot out of your bosses. And it's like,
yeah,
you know, it's at that point, it's almost combining what is okay and what's not okay, and it's this weird gray area. And it's like,
Rami, with that change to loot boxes, if it goes through, if they do something to it where they ban it, whatever, does that just mean that like the Chinese mobile market doesn't release outside of China at that point?
I mean,
yeah,
probably,
yeah.
But I think eventually, I think the same thing will happen in China. Like the main thing with these things is it is economically sort of not a great thing to have this thing happen continuously. Like the big issue is just it creates a lot of problems for people, right? Because there's no good reason to have this. The games industry already makes more money than any other entertainment industry in the world. And literally all this is doing is creating more money while creating more problems for individuals. It's creating addiction problems. It's creating problems with people's safety, with their health, with their money. It's creating friction between adults and children. It's creating unhealthy behaviors in children. It's increasing gambling tendency in young children. Like, here's the thing. I'm not the kind of person who says, like, nobody is negatively affected by video games. I think that's bullshit, right? Like, there's always the people who say, like, games make violent. I think that's bullshit. But do games make people that have a violent tendency and might not be able to deal with processing that properly in a game? Might a game negatively affect them? Yeah, sure. Like the same way people with
like any violent activity
might be affected.
Yeah.
Just
like watching a bunch of violent movies could do. Yeah.
It could have been a soccer game, right? Like it doesn't matter. Like, yes, that is true. Like I believe that if we want to say that games can mean something good, we have to accept that games can mean something bad. We can't have it both ways, right?
I'm just glad personally that I have no association with video games and violent activity at all. Like I've been able to divorce myself from that.
And gambling.
That's so wonderful.
Says the guy who
gambling as well. Like,
yeah. Says Zeke, the guy who literally has to order 2 of everything for when he inevitably breaks the first one by slamming it into something.
You can't just out them on main like that, Coach.
I'm gonna put that in a little
rules
box.
Here.
I'm gonna put it down into the cellar, and I'm going to examine that emotion that you just gave me later, Co.
Oh
God, I'm glad I rescheduled my therapy for next.
There were two other.
With
Go
loot
ahead,
boxes, just real quick. With loot
yeah.
boxes, I think my biggest problem with them is that there's no spending cap.
Mm-hmm.
There's no cap. You can keep spending
all day,
right?
anytime.
It's randomness, no spending cap. If they said loot boxes exist, but up to a certain level, and after that,
they're gone.
Done.
They're there to catch you up to the rest of the player base or something.
Done. I don't care if they say like, okay, it's a X amount cap, right? Like $30 cap.
Yeah,
fucking fine. I for some game for Marvel Snap, I would pay it. I pay it.
God,
I love Marvel Snap. I have a great time. I probably spend more on that game.
I wonder if they've on the topic of Marvel Snap. I wonder if they've actually thought about if you could just buy all of Tier 3 cards for $50, or it would have to be something a lot more than $50 because they already charge you $50 for the option not to do that.
I would, right? But the thing is, I think the idea of a spending cap complicates the business model, and I think it will disrupt it enough that most companies will go elsewhere. So maybe that is where we need to be looking.
Membuck in my chat I didn't even consider this. Path of Exile has a limit on it, but it resets every 3 months.
Also, shout out and very cool little thing about Path of Exile. You can message the developers and they will disable your ability to buy loot boxes.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Absolutely. They made a big thing about it during one of the leagues where they were like, do you not feel that you can control this? Let us know and we will make it so you cannot buy them.
I guess it's easy enough to do, you know. It takes power for a person to do that in the first place. So,
it does.
Yeah.
It does. So, you know,
cool,
there's a certain but that's cool. That's still like that. You don't always see that. So
sure,
it's
yeah.
nice to shout out.
You don't see like EA FIFA out there being like, give us a message.
Now what would be interesting?
They would send an email back with like, actually, we're giving you a discount for the first 10 boxes.
The first 2 are free. No, but it's I would say I think like the next interesting step would be a company that would be detecting you purchasing loot boxes and would like pop up a message being like, you know, do you want to talk about maybe disabling this? Like of course it'd be actively against them making money, but at the same time, if a company did that, that'd make headlines. Where they were like, you know, like PoE, you buy 50 loot boxes in a row and a message pops up and it says, just wanting to let you know, if you want, we can turn this off for you. You know, you can send a message to our team. You know, here's some gambling helplines just in case. You know, just wanted to check in. Hi, feel free to keep going if you have the funds. But, you know, just wanted to check. You know, that'd be kind of amazing. But never happened.
For now, just kill the loot boxes.
You've all heard that necessity is the mother of invention. I'm sure it's an old saying. I have personal experience with this because I called up my bank and I was like, do not put a limit
kid invasion
on ATM withdrawals. Do not let me draw more than $200 at any given time on any given 24-hour period.
Really?
Don't do it. So not only would I wait until midnight, like 11:30 to gamble, I would, as soon as that ticked over at midnight, I would get out more money. And also I would, I figured out ways to withdraw it from other sources.
Sure, yeah.
Dude, like it's a good step. But like, I'll tell you this: gamblers will find a fucking way to get their money.
Look, man. The God's honest truth. You can go watch the biggest streamers on Twitch. They've got the same tendencies, and you could see the shit they jump through.
But that's the thing. Just kill the loot boxes. Just kill them. Like I know I'm
saying that's a great solution because if there were no because I moved from Montana to Denver, and in Montana every single bar had a Keno machine, had a poker machine, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Here there are zero except for special, like reservation casinos and stuff like that, and they're pretty good distance out of town. Yeah. I haven't been to one of them since I moved here because it's an inconvenience. So I think that might actually work. Take away the loot boxes.
Yeah. I mean, it's what I argued for in these conversations, and I hope I get what I want because I think it would just make the games industry a better place.
Yeah, there's outside of the loot boxes, there's 15, 20 other bullets bullet points.
Yeah.
One of them to assess the use of gold farming in connection with financial crimes and human rights abuse and present the appropriate initiatives if necessary. To end the illegal practices allowing anyone to exchange, sell, or bet on in-game and third-party sites for skin betting. That was brought to their attention.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
The EU,
a lot of stuff.
The EU is fairly good at these kind of things. The biggest problem with the EU is follow through. Like,
right, they'll assess
set
it,
up
but they won't set up the rule. Yeah,
that's what we're waiting for. And I've been in touch with some of the people who are pushing this on the Dutch side, and they seem to really want to do it. And what I really appreciated is obviously a lot of the people you're talking with in these kind of meetings are old.
Are old?
They're old.
Yeah,
they're old. They have no idea about any of this. They know that their kids do it, and that they don't like that their kids do it.
They see the charge on the credit card.
Basically, but the thing I found really interesting this time is that they actually involved industry people from the start to talk about these things, and not just the people that they would be regulating, but also people throughout the industry that do not use loot boxes. From what I understand, they also talk to people who have been affected by these loot boxes and by these systems, and they've talked to so they actually got a fairly holistic view of the situation before they started putting this plan together. And I thought that it felt like they actually they get it. I was on a radio interview with one of those people the other day about this topic, and it was just this guy was informed. He was on top of the messaging. He was on top of the topic, and even when there were sort of curveball questions, no, he knew his shit. He was mid 60s, late 50s, somewhere between late 50s, mid 60s, I would guess.
That's rare.
He sounded like us, just without the cursing. It was good. Or is it just me
rare.
that's cursing?
It's definitely rare. What else is there? God, there's so many different news stories. Marvel's Avengers is gone soon. They're packing up shop. They announced on Friday, following the update 2.8 on March 31st, 2023, they will no longer add new content or features to Marvel's Avengers. All official support for the game will end on September 30th, 2023. Even after the official support ceases on September 30th, both single and multiplayer gameplay will continue to be available. They put out more information. See below for more information. But
right, it'll stay available for a year or so. And
yeah, they'll keep it there till an amount, whatever threshold it is they have marked to no longer, you have to have it. You have to have the internet basically turned on, the servers turned on to play that game. But
I don't like this reality
where it shuts down.
I don't like it. Yeah, just games you disappear. The whole Destiny Stadia thing made me very, very nervous about the eventual death of
we didn't even talk about Stadia.
Games that people put a lot of money into, and in some cases bought with the intention of playing for decades because they loved it.
Yeah.
And then somebody just decides, no, that money, all that money you spent,
it's gone.
Gone.
If that was your intention, you probably shouldn't have bought a Stadia, but that's a separate conversation.
You're preaching to the choir here.
Right.
Who would buy a Stadia? Surely not.
I like Stadia.
People on the show
for free, but
you're in a different world than us in that regard.
Did Stadia refund?
Yes.
Yeah,
actually go to your Google account. Yeah. It does say it'll take 10 months or something like that, code, but it credited to my Google account.
By which time inflation means it's worth $11. The $700 you've invested, you will get them back.
Yeah. Sure.
No, I don't know. I don't like this reality where good games shut down, platforms are going under. People love things and now they're no longer playable. The scary stuff with all the shit that's happening, all the streaming service, we're just actually we're just pulling down this entire series because it's a better tax write-off.
Yeah. That could totally happen with games, man. And kind of already is in a lot of ways for a lot of games.
It happens inevitably with almost every MMO.
Yeah, I guess when an MMO shuts down, you're right. Yeah.
I don't like it.
And I mean, in some cases... Go ahead.
I like when it was rare. Then it was a big thing. Remember? Big MMO shuts down and you're oh my God, let's watch this thing. And
watch it.
Everybody loves
Watch it burn.
And we were just oh my God, the servers turn off and this is what. And now we're just Yeah. So which 7 games are shutting down this week? Yeah, this. Oh shit, I played that. Yeah, okay. Fuck it. Like it's just also the amount of work that we're burning. Like what the?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
You're not
people
wrong.
buy the video game.
Yeah. It is a weird industry with games that are forever online. Gotta have those servers.
You don't
those
really
servers cost
buy
money.
games.
Yeah, you're
You just
buying
buy
the service.
you buy the chance to play them at that moment.
That's right.
With no guarantee that you'll be able to in the future. And especially, I think all of us are old enough to where it's like that's not how it was. You bought the game, you bought a physical item, whenever you wanted for the rest of your life.
You
could
put
pop
that cartridge
in your CD-ROM.
Yep.
And you could put that cartridge in, and it's like that was yours. It was your game, your copy. And it's like that's just you basically you don't buy games anymore. You license them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You license them. And funny enough, that's what we do with every single Steam game.
Yes.
Steam will probably go out at some point in the future. Not probably anytime soon. There's still the big fish. But eventually someone bigger is going to come along. Steam is going to try to keep up. Maybe something will happen. And eventually Steam will probably go under. Or get bought by a company that decides that half their library is important for them. Absolutely. So it's crazy to think that, like your entire Steam library one day could just be gone.
Yeah.
It will be. No question about it. It will be gone.
One day it will not exist. Yeah.
When?
Sure.
I'd say
is that day, Rami? Rami, tell me when that day is. I need to prepare.
Gabe told me he would stop me if I told anybody. So
okay.
A serious sooner consideration is pop-up services like Epic. Epic one day just deciding, you know what? The right exec wakes up and says, you know what? I'm done putting money into this system.
Yeah.
Shut it down. It's not worth the servers we're hosting it on. It's not worth all the money we're pouring into it. It was a good try, but we're shutting it down.
Yeah.
I think what I like about the funny thing about Epic is they have enough control.
All those free games, I know. All right,
but they have enough control of leadership that I'm not too worried about Epic. Like Epic has good control of its decisions. Like it's a unique situation they're in, but
it comes down to where it's not a decision based out of is it good or not. It comes down to a decision just based on money. I mean, Epic's a company,
right?
So if it gets to the point where it's just too much of an anchor, it's just not worth it.
Yeah. I've got 2 things I want to bring up. One, both industry related. The second one more personal, I think, for Rami. First one, industry. WoW's done in China. They're shutting. It's gone. It's a big deal. And then they announced it's probably called Taurus Land. I'm going to pronounce it as Tar Island. Did you guys see the trailer for Tar Island? Because man,
how do you spell that?
Tar Island.
TAR
Island. Yeah. The trailer they put out for Tar Island like 2 weeks ago, a week ago, it's literally just World of Warcraft. Like it is
unveiled by Tencent.
It's Tencent's World of Warcraft. And to even go a little step further, to make it seem like China was kind of like personally upset about all this, there was a axe that was from a popular character, Garrosh, within World of Warcraft. I want to say it's the Hell something or other. I forget the name of the weapon. They quite literally tore the statue down in front of a building and dismantled the Gorehowl. Thank you, chat. They dismantled the physical metal Gorehowl and recorded and released it on the internet. Because why not? It's just bizarre. It's just like
what was the symbolism they're trying to accomplish with that?
I assume what you want. It was there as a like
we hate Blizzard. We're removing them from what just enlighten me here. I should have been following this closely. What was the big thing that caused this to happen?
They just didn't renew the license in China. I don't know if there were specifics for it.
There was.
There was?
No. NetEase basically said that this wouldn't have no material impact on their earnings. Like WoW was not earning enough.
Oh.
All the games NetEase
so this was a conscious business decision by World of Warcraft to just be like NetEase to just be like we're not going to renew our license in China because it's not worth it. We're shutting down WoW.
Yep.
And then, was the Gorehound thing players pissed off that they were doing that?
One players. No, so company. The company is who removed it.
Blizzard then posted a thing saying that they weren't able to renew their deal with NetEase, which obviously pissed off a lot of players who wanted to continue playing the game. And then NetEase took offense to the way Blizzard wrote and basically threw them under the bus for not renewing the license.
They pinned it on them. Yeah. Because I think they were trying to find another partner to keep the license going in China, right?
Yeah. They were. Yeah.
It was essentially like
NetEase basically went like, NetEase basically looked at Activision Blizzard and said like, you're not earning enough. And then I'm
announced
sure Microsoft
their own
will use it in their court case.
Wow.
They're like, even NetEase thought we weren't worth the money. Like, come on.
Yeah.
If NetEase says Activision Blizzard isn't worth shit, we should be allowed to buy them. What weird moves in that case, by the way? Microsoft buying shit, Sony buying Bungie, Sony saying in the shareholder report, like, Microsoft's not really a big deal to us. Like, what is happening? Everybody's making bad moves.
Yeah. It's a little
This is embarrassing.
It's a little wild to see all that.
The entire industry is being fucking embarrassing right now when it comes to decision making. And I have to sit here and be like, hey, no, we got this. We don't got this. Shit's on fire.
It's all
I don't know what's happening.
Billionaires playing with billions at that point. Throwing money around.
Disgusting.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, and if anything, it brings us full circle to the show, because we started out with stating like the idea that all of this is just suits trying to make more money and corporate greed and whatnot. Rami, I know you've been on the Giant Bombcast before. Did you happen to catch Jeff Gerstmann's stream 2 or 3 days ago when he was talking about how, and this is somewhat dour, so I apologize, but it was talking about how when Ryan passed away, it basically made their existence continue because the suits at the company realized that people were willing to spend money and support the show when the outcry after his death. That is like wild.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, like in the games industry, we see a lot of fucked up shit. But you guys' side of the industry, like the press media side, like the shit I hear there
fucking insane.
Fucking like the shit I hear from the press media side of the industry, like, they report on crunch, but like if you see how the people in the press crunch,
right,
and people on Twitch crunch during holy
you should watch
shit.
I mean, you bring that up. Jeff quite literally said Jeff Gerstmann, huge, just to bring this to people into the fold.
Right.
Jeff Gerstmann's a very, very, very well-known journalist within the game journalism scene. He's been around for, 20 plus years, 25 years at this point. He was involved in the GameSpot Kane and Lynch thing when he basically got let go because he gave Kane and Lynch a bad review. There's a whole bunch of drama. This was probably a decade and change ago when all that stuff happened. He recently got let go from the website that he created, Giant Bomb, about a year ago and change. And now this past week, the company that owned Giant Bomb let more people go. People that had worked there for a very, very long time. And so this kind of all started a conversation for Jeff, who now, when he left, started a very successful Patreon. You think he has like 5,000 or 6,000 patrons with a $5 buy-in base, and it's super, super successful. But on the stream, he goes on to state exactly everything you just said, where like when Ryan passed away, he said that he basically looked at his life and was like, I'm no longer going to work 80 hours a week to review a fucking game.
Ryan?
Ryan is his best friend, who also he created the website with. Giant Bomb.
And Ryan passed away. Sadly,
about a decade ago.
About a decade ago now. I mean, Jeff is genuinely one of the nicest, like warmest people I've met in the games, like and like so incredibly real. Like that man was so incredibly real and so genuine and so honest. And I mean, that was the brand he had. Like over the Kane and Lynch thing, that was the brand he had, but he deserved that brand. And there's a lot of people in games who like deserve part of their brand, but not their entire brand. And Jeff was just 100%. Every time you sat down with him, there would be an amazing story or like some backdrop or some context, and he would always treat you as if you were a big deal. Right. So on Giant Bomb, he would put me on tables with like, industry legends, because he was like, yeah, no, you're doing good work. Like, just go sit between them and we'll interview all of you at once. And he'd just be like, like I would put somebody important. And he's like, no, all of you are important. Like, y'all make games. Like, go sit. I was like, love this man. But like, he was genuinely like, he is that person that people hoped he was. He was just like, he will talk honestly about this stuff, and he will talk personally about this stuff, and he will have fun doing it. But like, you won't get anything that is bullshit out of Jeff Gerstmann, and I've always very much appreciated that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me sad, these stories, man. Like the people in the press,
They were incredibly
like,
depressing. Yeah, it was wild.
The people in the press, they get worked to the bone, and then they get shit from everyone.
Right? Yeah,
it's like literally nobody.
I mean, I think all three of us experienced it. You say the word IGN, you can look in chat, and within 5 seconds, you'll see a shitty comment. Right?
Like, the people who work at IGN are lovely. Well, like most of them are lovely, and even the ones that aren't lovely are at least hard fucking working.
Right?
Like, they try. Right? They try. And like a lot of people are like, yeah, okay, some of those personalities are bigger than they should be or bigger than life. And IGN, is a big company. Sometimes they do things where I'm like, I wouldn't do that. But like, you know how old IGN is? IGN is old. Like, that is an institute. And from the games industry, we look at that and we're like, they didn't fuck up that much.
I think it's also possible though to separate the content of a company from the hardworking good employees.
You can do that.
Like
a lot of people can't.
That's true. But I do feel like a lot of people that rag on IGN do that. Like there's no question that there has been some questionable content out of IGN. There's a reason that they've earned a lot of the negativity. But honestly, does that now you're right though. Does that mean that any single person should ever be ragged on for what they do there as a person? Absolutely not. It's the same thing where like if a game makes a bad decision or a patch has questionable updates, that people attack the game devs and
but
do
like,
that
let's
kind
be honest. I've made shit games and you've all done shit episodes, right? Like,
how dare me? What the fuck? Man, you're done. You're done here, Rami. You're no longer.
Okay.
Thank you for being here for this show of drop frames.
We appreciate you being here, except for Rami.
Hope you enjoyed the last time you'll see Mr. Rami.
I can't. Why don't you get on your plane and fly the fuck away, Rami? How about that? Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, as the duly appointed person who only says positive things about this. About this podcast, I want to say that I think we're doing great, and I don't know if we've ever had a bad episode. Good job, everyone.
No,
good job, three of us. That's the thing, right? We all miss. We all miss sometimes, and that's across 15 years. If you look at what the really big misses are, IGN have done, like it's like the plagiarist guy that was fucked up, and then like a number of reviews where you're like, it was a little questionable.
Yeah,
and like,
that's the snowball effect that people have. It's the like, and it's different for every person. So some people really hate IGN because all the games they liked IGN said were great, or all the games they didn't like, or excuse me, all the games they didn't like IGN said were great, or maybe they believed them at some point and then got a bad review, and then it's like, how could I ever trust them again? Right. But yeah. I will say it's kind of unfortunate when that kind of there's a transition that takes place, and this is a societal thing, not necessarily a person, when the dislike of a company publicly becomes a meme. When it becomes a culturally accepted thing to hate on a game dev, a news organization, that kind of thing. When it's just like that's the cool thing to do. Another great company it's cool to hate is Kotaku, for instance. Everyone loves to hate Kotaku. So it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Hopefully most people can realize that there's still hard workers behind there, and they do put out good content. It's the whole like a cliche is a cliche because it works so well so often. Like, you can hate cliches, but they're cliches because they work. Because there's enough good stuff there to keep it going.
Yeah.
So, but not.
Anyway,
I think the sad reality is not everyone thinks that way.
This was a great episode, by the way, you guys. Like,
yeah, it was a blast.
Hey, welcome to Rami, back to our cast. Back. Fantastic. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
He got off his negative plane, and now he's on positive air here.
Welcome back to the team, Rami.
Prop frames.
Well, I just wanted to say one thing about Rami is that he has the blessing and the curse of knowing individuals that work at companies that we only know the company name.
Curtain.
Sure,
he watches the show and then he goes back in the back end and sees the sausage getting made. So he's got a better perspective, a more intelligent perspective on this, a more enlightened perspective. He knows what's going on. This is why it's fun to have you here, and thank you for doing it.
I always appreciate it. Like, as always, it's fun to see chat and to hear what your perspectives on stuff is as well. Because for me, like, you're on a very different end of the industry. Like, you're talking to the people playing the games continuously, and also people that would never play my games or would never be interested in the shit that I do. So, like, it's also a really good reality check for me every now and then to just hang out with y'all and like see what you're thinking. And so I appreciate it as much.
That goes both ways as well.
So, yeah, for sure.
I appreciate that.
You're our inside correspondent.
Yeah, the inside man.
Don't tell anybody. No, nobody watches this, right? Like, is there? Oh God, how many people?
Well, the God's honest truth is, if I didn't watch Giant Bomb, wouldn't know you exist, and you wouldn't be on the show today.
Fucking love Giant. Long live Giant Bomb. Long live Jeff Gerstmann.
Yeah. I just like your tweets.
This show probably wouldn't exist if like Giant Bomb didn't do its thing. So, yeah. Anyways, what were we gonna say, Zeke?
I was just gonna say, if you ever get the fucking opportunity to walk around a con floor with Rami, it's awesome. It is so awesome.
High fives, fist bumps everywhere.
Yeah, inside jokes like, yeah, so how'd that fucking thing go? And he's like, and I'm like, what's going on? What are you guys talking about?
And the only reason we're saying this fucking thing is because they don't know whether you are press or not. So they're just like, can I say what it is? No? Okay, how did the fucking thing go? Yeah, so like, is he gonna talk about this or not? Like, it's lovely.
Yep.
It was really fun walking with you though, because you also get recognized by like every third. Like, we cannot move 5 feet. It was great.
Thanks, Rami. Thanks for saying that.
Rami, we don't even know that.
Like,
we don't.
Yeah, it was five steps. I get interrupted by a developer. 5 steps. He gets interrupted by a viewer. 5 steps. It was just
someone leaked the DMs. He paid him off to say this. There's no other way it's not real. Didn't happen.
Well, it doesn't hurt that we're both like pretty recognizable.
Very tall.
And also, we're not quiet.
Also not. Yeah. Also
that's mostly you. That's mostly you.
Yeah, true. Ko, I know you need to get out of here. I'm going to let you do shout-outs real quick.
Thank you. I appreciate it. First of all, thank you guys for watching. Big thank you to JP and Zeke as always. Rami, it is always a pleasure. Already looking forward to the next time you can make some time to be with us. It was a very fun show. A lot of good information. My name is Ko. Hi. I am here tomorrow morning for some Stalker, tonight for some Chained Echoes. I can't wait to talk about Chained Echoes on this show. And Stalker, of course. And then I am gone next week. We'll be running reruns of Subnautica on my channel, but I am gone to a far off place to do a thing. So I will see you guys probably next Saturday for all sorts of stuff. Dead Space remake, Pantheon pre-alpha in the evening, probably check out Forspoken. We've got a lot of stuff to do. So hope to see you then. And if you want to know what I'm doing over the next week, follow me at Twitter, @CoCarnage. I may be tweeting out some stuff if I can. So yeah, it'll be fun. Thanks for watching as always. I gotta go. And thanks again, Rami. See you guys next week.
Awesome. Let's see. I don't think it saves the last frame anymore. Do the last frame. We'll see where it saves.
I'm just going to do a normal face.
Nope, saves last frame. It works. It checks out. Yep, looks great. It's fantastic. 10 out of 10. Fun again. Rami, do you have to go immediately?
Immediately, no. Soon, yes.
Okay. Is there any other things, Zeke, you want to ask? I don't know the next time we'll have Rami on, so we can continue.
No,
for a little bit,
there is one thing. There is one thing I was saving from the very beginning of the show. Like, we were talking about Dutch things, and I went out and I came back and I never found the opportunity.
Oh,
but I just wanted to like interject this, like, just because I was like,
oh,
you're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. When the Dutch bake shit, they do shit right, man.
We know how to
apply that shit.
You're eating it without the coffee. Isn't that like sacrilegious?
The tea, the tea. It's the best way to eat them with the tea, but they're pretty good like that.
I've had
tea or coffee. It doesn't matter.
Fine like this, dude.
I think I want to say maybe we mentioned it on a Drop Frames a long time ago. It might have been with Rami. And then at a TwitchCon, a fan brought me stroopwafels before, and I had them right there. It was great. It's good stuff.
So stroopwafels, Zeke, if you ever want to try, if you have a warm drink, put them on top. And then keep them until they're warm but not soggy. And then eat them.
Well, here's the thing.
Even better.
That's how I did it.
Stroopwafels are probably, I'm guessing they're copyright. Or
they're probably
maybe a registered trademark. Maybe not. But we had a place in my hometown of Billings, Montana, that was called Caramel Cookie Waffle.
I've been there.
And they made fresh caramel cookie waffles.
I've been there. Nice. Those people,
that's,
I met
that's
those
how
people.
I knew them all the time growing up. And I was on an airplane once and someone said, "Do you want a stroop waffle?" And I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And they handed me it. It's like, this is a caramel cookie waffle.
So Billings, Montana, that's next to it's east of what's
nothing. There's nothing around Billings for
it's south. It's if you're looking at the state, it's south central Montana.
Yeah, but like I forgot where Montana is. Montana's in the north?
Borders Canada.
West, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so when you drive from Seattle to Chicago, you would come through it, right?
Yes.
So here's the thing. I once took a road trip from Seattle to probably Boston, and I drove through Billings, and I got hungry. And I went and I searched for a place to go, and the place you're talking about is the Dutchest fucking place I've seen outside of the Netherlands.
It's they have roll they're like flaky rolls with sausage inside of them. It's like the best lunch place in town.
Sausage
Wait, what? Those are called kolaches where I come from.
No, sausage broche.
It might be the same
kolache. But maybe. But the thing is, I talked to those people, and they one of them is Dutch. One of them was like originally Dutch and moved to the US with their partner and started a company together. So it's 100% accurate Dutch like stuff.
And they totally Americanized it, calling it caramel cookie waffle.
Yeah. But
that's
it
most is American shit.
100% Dutch. I was so surprised.
Once I found that place, it is homemade. They have a limited supply. They don't reheat. They make it that day.
Yeah.
If you don't get there by 1:15,
sold out.
They're out of the good shit.
Dude, like that's how you know something is good.
Spinach roll, no sausage roll, none of that.
More places need to do that. That have good product.
Right.
Just sell.
I cannot believe you just brought up that place. I have like photos of that place on my phone because I was like,
it's great.
What is happening?
In Billings, one of all places.
It's one of the only places that I brought Katie, who is a child of the U.S., has lived in lots of different cities in the U.S. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take you to two places, and I bet you're going to love it. And I took her to Caramel Cookie Waffle. She's like, oh my God, this is stupendous. It's fresh. It's flaky. I'm like, right. And the other place was Pickle Barrel.
I don't know what pickle.
It's just a sandwich place that makes fucking awesome sandwiches.
I've heard of Pickle Barrel for some reason. Maybe you mentioned it.
So every time I drive through from Seattle to anything on the other coast, I will detour through Billings just to go to that place. I've been there 4 or 5 times now. Like it's I have to go. Like actual Dutch food.
I love it. It's a super tiny place that shares like a mini mall with it has like a convenience store, like a laundromat, and then like the tiny caramel cookie waffle restaurant, and it seats like 12 people maybe.
I feel like we need to do that. I feel like we need to take Zeke with a stroopwafel and just have him put the stroopwafels in Ko's mouth. I think this is important.
Oh yeah.
I was going to ask, but I didn't know if the green screen would allow me to do that.
This seems important. This seems very important.
Hold on. We can do this. Actually, if we do this, it'll disappear.
I'm going to put it right in his ear.
Is it better if it's like that or that? Like I don't.
Oh, yeah, that's better. Better. Yeah, there we go. That's it.
There we go.
This is it.
Okay. Hold on. Let's see where it ends.
No, it'll go the distance. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I see what you're doing.
Yep. There you go. Okay. Here we go. Koa, eat it. It's an airplane.
Beautiful.
Worth it.
Green screen magic. 60 FPS.
Oh no, it's a 777700. Here it goes. Going to heaven, the Stroop waffle.
Oh jeez.
Now, at least, Zeke, if you're ever in a situation where the airplane has been hijacked and like everything has gone shit, you know what numbers to put in, okay?
Yeah. Jack has a knife. Jack, 7.5.
Fucking Jack. Fucking Jack.
We didn't. You guys watch Last of Us? Did you watch the show? What?
I haven't yet. I really want to.
Zeke, did you watch
it? I'm not the time yet.
Am I the only one that's watched it? Yeah, did you watch it? I did.
I did.
I think it was fucking awesome. It was great. Some things are actually creepier in the show, Rami. They got rid of the spores, and they're more fungi like. And so like the zombies, like there is a zombie. Let's just go with that. And before they interact or do anything zombie-like you would expect from a Last of Us zombie, they just have small little like fungi coming out of their mouth, and it's terrifying. It's fucked up. It's like scarier than other shit that I've seen. It's just little feelers that are moving.
Don't like that. And
yeah,
I really
it's not a good
image.
image.
I don't like that. It's good. It's good. Yeah,
not
I'm excited. I haven't had time to look at it, but I
it's
will.
great.
They
nailed it.
Very excited.
I think they absolutely. I didn't really. I don't think I have any issues with thus far. I think everyone, like acting wise, is fantastic. There's so many. The way that I described it when we were talking about it with chat and Zeke, I'm curious with you if this is at all similar because you've watched it, and also with people in chat that have seen it. It's very strange because I've never been one of those people that's like read a book and then watched the show or the movie because I don't read books, is the God's honest truth. And so now I've seen, and I think this goes a little bit further because everyone has the same experience, whereas books, it's all in your head. You kind of create the experience for yourself. With the game, I've lived through the game X amount of times, right? And so now when Joel lays down in his bed and they do kind of a shot of his watch, and then he closes his eyes and the lights in the room immediately fade to show time passing. I know all that's going to happen, and I know the exact lines that the characters are about to say, but I've never seen the show before. And it's really strange for that to happen. I don't know what it's called in terms of a way to describe that other than what I just did. But that happened countless times throughout the episode where I just knew exactly what they were going to say. They said the thing verbatim. The transitions happened the exact same way, and it just went forward. And I was like, I don't know if I like this feeling. Like, I kind of hate this. I kind of don't like knowing exactly what's going to happen.
That's a strange one. I mean, they'll probably stick close, but obviously they are going to have to make changes.
There are some slight changes. Yeah.
Story-wise, they probably also can't keep exactly to what happened, but they can keep the moments and sort of like the overall pacing of it. A lot of video games is pacing, right? Like,
yeah. Well, they're also doing
a lot of the game.
They're also doing a lot of like subverting of expectations, where
right. Well,
in the game,
so you'll know some of what happened, and you won't know other stuff that happened, but it'll overall take the same line. That's what I hope.
In the game, in the opening, remember when they're driving into the city and the truck hits the truck?
Yeah.
Truck doesn't hit the truck. But they allude to it because they stop and there's a truck and it's about to T-bone them, but it doesn't hit. And then they go on and make almost, I would say, a better experience. Definitely one that's like, we have a lot of money. Bullshit.
Do you think Neil and the creative team had to do
that
certain things because that was the only way it was going to work in the video game, and now that they have more budget and freedom, they can do it other ways?
That's I think cool. So. I think a lot of it comes down to more money, and I think it's also like entertainment, not entertainment, but people that watch movies or TV expect the bombastic. Whereas with games, it was much more like reeled in. Because they even do that with the opening. In the game, it's just text. In the show, it's an episode from like a show from the 70s, and he's explaining what the fungus is, and it's really fucking scary. Like it's more terrifying than anything in the show so far.
That's cool. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, it's really good. I think they're doing a great job. Tonight's episode is actually directed by Neil Druckmann. It's his debut of direction. So we'll see how that goes.
While I didn't have that feeling for Last of Us because it's been so long since I played through it, so I didn't know, like, I knew the basic gist and I knew like certain of the bullet points of the thing, but I didn't know. However, when I watched The Sandman on Netflix,
oh yeah.
I watched that. That was a very faithful adaptation, and I knew, I was like, say the thing. Shut the fucking thing! I read that 300 times in the fucking comic, and they said it exactly. It's framed exactly the same way.
Like, now that's true. That probably happens a lot with graphic novels because they like, the image that you see is there rather than it's the realm of your imagination with a book, so to speak.
No, I definitely like with comics because it was like you frame by frame by frame, and they would frame it up
it's a storyboard.
Exactly the same way.
Yeah,
and
yeah. So that's been pretty cool. Trying to think if there's any other news stories. Like this past week was just brutal. Every day was like
enough news, please. Like
X
come
amount
on,
of people
like I can't
leave,
take more.
and companies shutting down, and I think
so many people and across so many places like Vox 130, Google 12,000. Like come on, like what is happening? I'm good. I don't need more news.
The unfortunate part, I think, of all that, if there is a way to like say something's more unfortunate, is like industry might just be getting started, right? Like that's probably going to continue on the next week. People are going to try to piggyback off the fact that like Amazon's laying off 10,000 or 12,000 and Microsoft's doing 10,000 and say like, yeah, we're laying off 100 and just kind of throw that in.
I mean, I talked to a lot of studios where their like finances are not looking great, and I'm like, oh boy, that's another acquisition waiting to happen. Because the easiest way out is to just get acquired.
You think Ubisoft gets bought? Do you think they finally...
I think Eva's too stubborn, but like they fought off a number of acquisition attempts,
Vivendi and all that shit. Yeah,
I think they don't want to. I think for now, and this is honestly a guess, but for now they're stable enough. But they're two bad games away from being in that situation.
God, yeah.
And that's sort of where we are right now. Is like everybody is 2 bad games away from shit really going to hell. So
right. I guess uplifting question. Did you have a game of the year last year? Did you do a giant bomb list?
I did, but they didn't do external lists. So okay. I still have it. I need to figure out how or where to publish it. But
put on like a Medium or something like that.
Somewhere. Yeah, I have a newsletter, but it's more for the game developers, so I don't know where to put it yet. But
you can't just Twitter it.
Well, he does like he does a 5-page essay.
It's like a large article every year. Yeah. But I can list you stuff that I have on my list.
Sure, yeah.
I haven't picked like a favorite. I have Norco on there. I really thought Norco was really clever. God of War. I didn't like it as much as God of War 1, but given that God of War was God of War and incredible, living up to that would have been impossible. Like, getting close on its own is amazing. And Metal Hellsinger. I really like Metal Hellsinger. I don't know if you all played it, but
Zeke and Co are huge fans. It was on Game of the Year.
That shit was good. Elden Ring, except for the UI. Please don't hurt me on Twitter, people. Please don't hurt me on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I remember you got into some shit because you tweeted.
Just please do not hurt me. That was enough.
No. I'm with you. The UI was trash for sure.
The Case of Golden Idol. If you liked Obra Dinn,
it was on my list.
If you liked Obra Dinn, go play Case of Golden Idol. That shit was good. Stacklands, if you like weird ass city builder deck building games.
City builders deck weird. Okay.
Yeah, it's a card-based city builder game. It's fun for about 4 hours. It's made by Sokpop, which is this little indie collective that just does Patreon-based. Stacklands, you'll play it for like 6 hours, and there'll be 6 of the best hours that you play a video game.
Oh, it's on my wish list. I never got to play it.
It is good. It is really good. And then that same category, Railbound, if you like a fun little puzzle game, Railbound is good shit.
JP, you like that one?
Did I?
Railbound,
Railbound, the puzzle game where you do the train tracks.
Oh yeah. I had forgotten the name of that game, but I remember it very vividly because I got angry at it.
Nice.
The tension was there. Well, it was more like an angry. It was. There's a very weird syndrome that happens. It's a Twitch streamer thing where like you feel like the monkey in the box trying to solve the puzzle, and it's a very strange feeling.
For my best multiplayer, I have Destiny 2, which has been continuously the case for 6 years, and up until this point, very few people have noticed that I just copy paste the same text every year.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just literally the same thing. I just changed a few details, and then it's just the same text. You can go to my Giant Bomb page, and it's just like it's the same thing every year. Vampire Survivor was on there. Like, how do you make a game that looks so stressful be so zen? It's just like that's a fucking
man. There's so many crazy things. How do you make a game like Vampire Survivor pull in as many viewers as it does when it's so fucking basic? That's also another question I would love to know.
It's zen, but like the thing about Vampire Survivor is because it is so zen, you can actually talk while playing it. So fucking like it's just a chill like hangout thing. It's like such a good like you know how all those TikToks and like Instagram reels and all that just put like weird like anime shit while they're like talking or like Minecraft videos. That's Vampire Survivor. It's like the ultimate. We can talk while you watch this bullshit happening on your screen.
Yeah.
I have Trombone Champ.
Fantastic.
I have not cried with laughter as hard about it. Like that game is both a joke and a punchline in one thing.
Yeah.
That's fucking phenomenal. Like that was hard. Like Trombone Champ was good.
Good take on loot boxes as well.
It is.
Yeah.
Neon White was incredible. Speedrunning shooter, card-based shooter, speedrunning. Like I don't know what the fuck's happening. It's great. Didn't care one bit about the narrative myself. Like I just couldn't connect with it. But holy shit, those levels, like those levels were fire. Like every level, you're just like, what the hell? This is good shit.
Dwarf the level Fortress. Design and the music in that is definitely made it one of my. I don't think it cracked the top 10, but it was close.
Yeah. Dwarf Fortress, like I don't know, like man, that game is not a Game of the Year game. Like it's not for this list. That's a lifetime achievement award. We shouldn't be talking about that game. Just done. Like give them the lifetime achievement. Like holy shit, guys, come on. Like Marvel Snap, obviously.
What collection level are you in Marvel Snap?
Fuck if I don't know. I've stopped playing like a month ago.
Okay.
Or 2 months ago.
Probably for the better.
I was doing fairly well, but like I can look it up.
We're good.
And then I have quick mentions. I had Kirby Forgotten Lands, Rollerdrome, Dicey Dungeons Mobile, Super Dungeon Maker, Return to Monkey Island. You Call the Shots, which was a game in which they take famous movie scenes and you have to call when the cut is supposed to happen.
Oh,
and it just.
I think I saw Giant Bomb Guys play that. Maybe was it humorous? I remember.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Okay,
that game was pretty good. And then there was Endling Extinction is Forever. That was also good. So
nice.
Rollerdrome. If you haven't played Rollerdrome, it is Tony Hawk Pro Shooter.
Yep.
But it's basically nobody tells you this. It's basically a Souls-like.
Oh yeah.
That game is hard, and it's about finding the right way of going through
advance through a level.
Like, it's like surprisingly Souls-like-y. So.
Nice.
That was sort of my list of stuff, and I'm still figuring out what exactly goes where. But that's where I ended.
Yeah,
I'm trying to find that Call the Shots thing. How do I find it?
It's called You Call the Shots.
Right.
Is it on Steam?
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, Oh wait, I googled "You Call the Shots" Steam and got "You Call the Shots" vaccines web-based training course.
So,
Zeke, it CDC.
It is. Hachu, so like Hachu, but like AHCHOO,
it's on itch.
And it's on itch.
That's right.
So if you search for Hachu, AHCHOO. I really want to do this in the NATO alphabet, but then people would be like, "That's the most pilot thing I could possibly do."
Oh, I got it. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. It's pulled up.
Final question I got for you. How do you feel about Dunkey doing the whole video game publishing thing?
Well, I mean, I got to be honest. Brilliant strategy. Just only publish stuff that's good. Like, I can't believe anybody else. I cannot believe anybody has thought of that. Like, that is, frankly, we were just in the industry. We were just all shocked.
It's a pretty good strategy if you think about it.
That is fucking incredible. Like, so what you do is you get money, and then you only spend it on good things.
I mean, he announced his first game. I forgot the name of it. Chad will probably tell me here soon.
That's amazing. Like, it's going really well. the game he announced, that his name was a bigger deal than the game. That's
also you're not wrong about that. I remember more about the publishing than I do the game.
Like,
that he's
here's the thing. Like, it's the kind of thing where I hope it works, right? Like, I really do hope it works, because why the fuck would I not want an additional publisher in video games, right? Why would I not want more funding for more games in video? Like, I have nothing against the idea of somebody starting a publisher, but like, come on. Like, I think the amount of goodwill that he could have created publishing that versus the amount of goodwill he did create announcing that, not a great start. Not a great start. I think as somebody who is going to be publishing video games, it might be good to think of, the developers as part of your announcement, because you have two sets of customers. You have two sets of customers. One is your audience, the people playing the games, and the other is your developers, which is the people that are going to make the games. What the?
This is the game he's publishing.
Okay.
It's called Animal Well.
Okay. I mean, it looks cute.
It's on Steam.
Oh, that's cute. So yeah, no, I'm happy to hear that this is a good game as opposed to the bad games. Because it will be atrocious if this was bad. I like it. It looks cute. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, that's why would they do that? That's weird. What is happening? Holy shit! That's an epilepsy warning.
Giant cat ghost.
Okay, we got a little bit. We got a little bit of. Oh, good. The particle stuff's good. Oh, I don't want to be eaten by a frog.
What about bats?
That I'm terrified of bats.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? This is cute. Like, but that's the thing, right? Like, I would hope for it to work. I just also hope that he, like, when he gets to the point where he has done this once, that he kind of stops being an ass about
how he promotes it.
Yeah, just like, I'm just tired of that. I'm tired of that persona. Like, I'm just so tired of the idea of like, oh yeah, let's just do. It's literally like, I want the 5-page report from that guy. I want the 5-page report, like, on how he selects what is just a good game, because it's just tiring.
Sure.
Like, everybody sort of being like, oh yeah, there's an easy way of doing this. Like, come on, like, if it was an easy way of doing it, everybody would be doing it, and you wouldn't be special for it. Like, what he has, if we're being honest, he has an audience.
Right.
He has an existing audience of people who trust his opinions, and they will do that for about 2 games.
Yeah, you think that's
the first
where
one,
it's going to go?
If they're good.
This isn't a question necessarily for when it comes to your expertise on video games, but if he fails, how much do you think his actual credibility as his normal job starts to suffer?
I think he gets one.
Yeah, one bad one.
I think he gets one for free. He gets one bad one, and then he can always pull the, like, oh my god, y'all, this is so much harder, and then he can talk about what went wrong and sort of retain his credibility once. I think if he does it twice,
yeah,
that's also what we found in real publishers. You can fire one miss. At the second one, the story starts developing that you're no longer picking good games.
Sure.
Right? 1 is a miss, 2 is a pattern. So I think that's what he has. I don't think he's an exception to that. I don't think his existing audience will forgive him for being something else than he is. Like, he is a publisher now, and a lot of people will treat him as a publisher, just one that's fairly easy to reach online, which might or might not be a boon in his case, because publishing business ain't really like nice. But at the same time, I've never seen this pattern particularly. Like, there's similar initiatives, but they were always groups of people. He's doing it as him.
Right.
I mean, I'm all for an experiment that doesn't hurt me if it goes wrong. So, like, let's see what happens. Like, if he crashes and burns, it'll be fucking fascinating to watch. If it works, good, extra publisher. Like,
yeah,
from where I'm sitting, it's a win-win.
There's definitely 2 ways to do it. I didn't even realize this, but I guess Yogscast published PlateUp. And PlateUp is, like, massively successful. I had no idea that was Yogscast published.
It's a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
But it's also a good way of, like, protecting the brand. They have the money. Games are good investments. Being a publisher in games is good investment. So
Especially if you have an installed user base to begin with. It's like it's the equivalent of putting out a good game from.
Yep.
You know, you're already.
There's opportunity.
Yeah.
I hope it works, but also if it doesn't, it'll be fascinating. Like
to watch. Yeah.
The developers got paid, so I don't give a shit. Like that's my part of the equation. Is like the developers got paid. If it's shit, nobody will buy it. Nobody will be harmed by it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. I mean, wish him luck. Please don't be an ass about it.
What is it?
And then let's go.
I'm trying to see. So that game was first announced at the 2022 Summer Game Fest. I don't know if they have a release date for it yet. See more on our site. Remember to wishlist on Steam and PS5. That's what he said. From Billy Basso is the creator of that, if you happen to know who that person is.
I missed this game, so I'll be very curious to dig into it and see what's up.
He previously worked at Level EX Game Dev, NetherRealm, and Phosphor Games.
It's a good list.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the art style. It's cute.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye on it.
Try to consistent. Should tone it down on the flashes in that one scene. That's good.
Yeah.
That's. I think that is within parameters of like potentially triggering. So probably don't put that in a trailer.
Sure.
That's just my opinion.
That's all I got.
I don't like killing people.
Zeke, anything else? Should we do it? Should we end the show?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good to go. I got to go get my lady some weed. She's out of the weed. So
okay, there you go.
That's an important get. So
it is. It is.
Let's put the 7-7 on this episode.
Okay. All right. Zeke, shout outs. Let's go.
Yo, thank you, Rami, as always, for being here, dude. It's always like it takes a lot of the pressure off me when you're here because I don't feel like I need to jump in as much because you're just a fountain of knowledge. And I just sit here rapt. You have my rapt attention. Thanks for coming. JP, as always, thank you for being my co-host. My name is Ezekiel III. You can find me at /Ezekiel_III on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, or Ezekiel III, all spelled out on Instagram and TikTok. I'm in the middle of CD-ROM-a-thon, going into the third week, and showing no signs of stopping. Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, we're going to be checking out Trespasser, which is a Jurassic Park game. Yeah, I don't know. People said, like, dude, this is going to be bad. And I'm like, okay, I do bad shit. They're like, this is bad, though. This is going to be like, and I don't know why everybody voted for it, probably because of that. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, playing CD-ROM games all the month of January. And we played a little bit of Carmen Sandiego. We played some Neverhood. You know, been having a lot of fun with nostalgia. So come on down. 10 a.m. Pacific. That's all I got. Thanks for watching.
Doesn't Trespasser have first-person boobs in it?
I do not know.
I think it does. Anyways,
I'm going to keep claiming that I don't know.
Okay.
Even though you said that.
All right. Gotcha. Rami, let everyone know when Starfield is going to be delayed till.
What? I think they'll make more money never releasing that game. I have no idea what's happening.
Do some shout-outs. What you got going
on? It's actually I am not doing all too much at the moment. My year's just booting up, so I don't actually know what's happening. Got my first events, mostly helping other developers figure their stuff out. For people who care about game development insights, stuff like that, find me on Twitter, @THA_Rami. I don't stream all that much, but I intend on streaming a little bit more. Like, same thing there. If Twitter goes on fire, like, just, I don't know where I'm going yet. Beyond that, just, thanks so much for having me. Love the show. Chat, always, like, appreciate it. And all your nice comments and all the, like, not so nice comments. A few of them. I saw you. I don't give a shit about those, but it's nice to see them. It means that people care.
That's exactly
what they
right.
always say.
Yeah.
It's just nice. It warms my heart. Thanks so much, everybody. Like, it was an absolute joy. Thanks, JP and Zeke and Co, for having me, and I hope to be back sometime in the future.
Absolutely. We'll have you on when the industry starts to have another awful week. We'll just bring you on board for the awful times, Rami. That's why we love having you around.
Well, I'll be back next week, I guess.
Yep, we'll see you. Tune in. Rami's
our
second
perpetual guest.
2023 should be a great time. Maybe. That's it. We're done. I'm so excited that the show can now be in 60 FPS across the board. It's hard to convey. It's also hard to convey how incredible it is that my mouse and keyboard work fully across all PCs and I'm not limited to one keystroke every 4 seconds. That's also been an 8-year endeavor that I've had to and now it's just no more. It's great. 10 out of 10. Now we've got to get all of our guests to be 60 FPS as well. Rami, who's sitting at 25 for the past 3 hours and 35 minutes. Unbelievable. We're out of here. Thanks for watching.